Good afternoon, all of you. And good afternoon, everybody online. यही रख दो. Thank you. Good afternoon, Sambhavi, Divyanshi, Pooja, Mahendra, Goldie, Dimple, and Devashish. Okay, so we will initiate things. I think the last we talked about was PM Asha. Right. So just going back, today we start talking on all the steps taken by the government to promote agricultural income or double say GDP, that kind of a thing, double agricultural GDP. So say we discuss on that what has happened in agricultural income or doubling agricultural GDP. The first 3 points you write within that. I hope you had given a heading, steps taken to, yes. So within that you write number 1. There are 3 points I have already taught you, so I'm not going back to that, and then we will go from the 4th point onwards. So you write number 1. Increasing MSP, and increasing MSP and fixing it on the basis of a formula to increase farmers' returns. Good afternoon, Geeta. Good afternoon, China. Anmol, if you could just leave this, for me on Telegram, I will be willing to answer it. All right? Just leave it for me on Telegram. Okay. तुम लोग वो लिख रहे थे? Okay. You write the second point then. PM Kisan, again we have already discussed it, so we won't go into discussion again. Third, PM Asha, then you write 4th, PM Soil Health Card Scheme, and you put a dash and write the scheme was introduced, and just one more thing, I'm sure most of you would be carrying, but just a reminder, from tomorrow carry your notes that I have given you. जिस नोट्स के ऊपर पॉवर्टी, इनइक्वालिटी, अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट लिखा है, ऑलराइट, वो नोट्स आप कैरी करके आएंगे. मैं कुछ चीज़ें वहाँ से पढ़ाऊंगा अभी आपको और आपको बता दूंगा हाउ यू शुड बी यूजिंग सच नोट्स फॉर योर अंडरस्टैंडिंग एंड सो ऑन. सो टुमारो ऑनवर्ड्स डू दैट. Poverty, inequality, unemployment notes, carry that. We will be covering few things from there. Okay. So you write, the scheme was introduced in 2015-16. I'm sorry, 14-15. 2014-15. Full stop. Under the scheme, government appoints surveyors who take sample of crops, of soil. I said crops, remove that. Who take sample of soil from various fields in each village various fields in each village and and test it in government approved labs. Test it in government approved labs. Full stop. The testing is to find results the testing is to find results on nutrients, humus content, moisture content, and level of water table. Below the land. Full stop. It also contains details. On advising the farmers. I repeat, it also contains details on advising the farmers regarding crop choice. Now, what will be that detail advising regarding crop choice? That is about telling the farmers that this crop is more suitable for your agroclimatic position. So you grow more of this. All right, so regarding crop choice, amount of fertilizers, and type of nutrients along with irrigation support required by the soil. The health card is renewed every 3 years. Full stop. The objectives of the scheme are you take them as ABC. So you write A, to promote better crop diversification. Then B, to improve efficiency in use of inputs. C, to save cost of cultivation. By reducing use of costlier inputs and also reducing unnecessary use of fertilizers and pesticides, and D, to improve returns to the farmers, by encouraging them to grow high value crops. Then you write challenges. What has been observed in this? In fact, one good thing that the government is doing now is developing entrepreneurship in it. They are encouraging even private testing facilities like private laboratories to set themselves up in rural areas, and they can be on vehicles, they can move from one village to another, and they can get paid for that by the government. So that can be an employment generating initiative. If this fructifies, it can be an employment generating initiative, that if you can allow private laboratories and they can move from one place to another, they can test the soil, give the soil health card to the farmers, and government can compensate them for their efforts. So that is again a good idea of creating employment also for people. First point in this you write challenges. 1, lack of enough testing facility. Lack of enough testing facility has resulted in, I'm repeating myself, lack of enough testing facility has resulted in delays in renewal of cards, even though remember more than 23 crore soil health cards have been issued and more than 13 crore farmers have been benefited. That is what the Ministry of Agriculture says. The numbers are changing every day. Every day more people are issued soil health card. Then the second health card, third health card, they are being issued. So the numbers can keep changing. You can keep an approximate value that more than 13 crore farmers helped and more than 23 crore soil health cards issued. All right, that is there. But the problem is testing facilities are less, so the renewals are slow. The initial issuing is also slow. That is a challenge that we are facing. Second, you write faulty sample collection. Faulty sample collection results in less confidence among farmers, less confidence among farmers. I hope you understand that. When we say faulty sample collection, I'll tell you what is happening. In many places, what they do is that they go to the village and they take one sample of one field and then they make the soil health card for the entire village. Now the farmers can see through that. They see that this is happening. They don't trust the card, all right, when it is given to them. So that is our second challenge. And third, you write, lack of training to the farmers. Lack of training to the farmers regarding the use of health cards for improving productivity. So that, is another challenge that we see, that the farmers are not properly given the training. They are given the health card. Now they should be trained about what to do with the health card, how to use it, how to read it, upgrade it. And this is something they are not trained. Again, they don't know what to do with it. So many times the results are not as good. So I'll tell you what it implies, basically. So what it implies is that then the farmers don't know what are the benefits of diversification. They don't know why should they diversify, what kind of crops they can grow which will get them better markets. This is a missing link. जैसे आपने सॉइल हेल्थ कार्ड दे दिया, आपने कहा आप अपनी ज़मीन पे एक्स क्रॉप ग्रो करिए, अब मैं उस एक्स क्रॉप को कहाँ बेच सकता हूँ, किनको कंटैक्ट कर सकता हूँ, क्या क्या उसकी रिक्वायरमेंट होंगी, क्योंकि वो क्रॉप तो नया है मेरे लिए, इट्स अ न्यू क्रॉप यू आर आस्किंग मी टू ग्रो. सो यू गॉट टू ट्रेन मी व्हाट विल बी इट्स इनपुट रिक्वायरमेंट्स, हाउ डू आई सेल माई आउटपुट, हाउ डू आई प्रोटेक्ट माई क्रॉप. दिस इज द एक्सटेंशन सर्विस फार्मर्स विल नीड, विच इज मिसिंग, एंड दैट रिजल्ट्स इन अगेन poor performance of soil health card at times. Then you write next, fifth point. No. Fourth was soil health card, now fifth. All right. We started with talks on the steps taken to double farmers' income or increase agricultural productivity, MSP, PM Kisan, PM Asha, soil health card, now fifth. All right. So you write the fifth one. PM Krishi Sichai Yojana. PM Krishi Sichai Yojana. KRISHI Krishi. PM Krishi Sichai Yojana. So when we look at Krishi Sichai Yojana, the PM Krishi Sichai Yojana, again you write, it was initiated in 2015-16 as a centrally sponsored scheme, It's a 50-50 share, 50% central government, 50% state government. But for northeastern states and hilly states, it is 90-10. 90% central government, 10% state government. All right, but other states, it's 50-50. So as a centrally sponsored scheme with following objectives. And you write first, per drop, more crop, that is increasing water use efficiency, my mistake. Increasing water use efficiency by training the farmers in using drip irrigation, sprinkler irrigation, and better techniques of irrigation, to avoid wastage of water. See, this is the first thing, per drop, more crop, efficient water use. That जो पानी आप use करें, वो बेहतर खेती करके दे आपको. All right, better use of the water. Second, you write, water to every field. इसको एक स्लोगन दिया गया था, हर खेत को पानी. All right, so water to every field, that is providing assured irrigation to every field through different methods, like canal irrigation, groundwater irrigation, tank irrigation, etc., to reduce the impact of fluctuations, make it of weather fluctuations, especially during monsoon. Then you write next, third point, government will provide subsidy in creating infrastructure support to construct check dams, rainwater harvesting projects, and to revive local ponds, rivers, etc., for promoting supply side facility for farmers. When I say supply side, please connect it to the evergreen revolution, where we had talked about demand side of irrigation and supply side of irrigation. There is supply side that give them good facility to secure water, supply it to the field. All right, that will again enhance their efficiency. And one more you write, fourth point, to improve irrigation capacity through renewable energy sources and encouraging farmers to adapt to them. And one more you write, focusing on maintenance, repair, and cleaning of canals, to check water loss, and promote efficiency of water supply. to the field. I hope we are clear on that if you develop good culverts, good connectivity to the field, you keep cleaning your canal, remove the seepages, cracks can be immediately covered, then the water loss will not happen, better supply to the field will happen. All of these 4 points do what? They are trying to make sure that you have enough water for the field and you are assured of your irrigation, but you are also focused upon conserving water and saving it and using the right technique to utilize it. So demand side reform in irrigation, supply side reform in irrigation, trying to implement that. In the same thing you write, change the paragraph. No, it is the same point, just one line in that, one further line. The scheme has helped in increasing net sown area under irrigation. Net sown area is the total area cultivated. Gross cropped area, if you remember, considered how many crops cultivated. Net sown area is simply the area cultivated. So net sown area under irrigation from 44% in 2014, from 44% in 2014 to 53% by 2022. 44% in 2014 to 53% by 2022. Then you write the next point, sixth. PM Fasal Bima Yojana. PM Fasal Bima Yojana. All right. When we say PM Fasal Bima Yojana, again you write one line, you write it was introduced from Kharif crop in 2016. Kharif crop in 2016. The objective of the scheme is to provide subsidized insurance support. I'm repeating for myself. The objective of the scheme is to provide subsidized insurance support to the farmers and encourage them to grow high value crops. Encourage them to grow high value crops. The government has fixed farmers' contribution as 1.5% of insured amount for food grains in Rabi crop, %2 of insured amount for food grains in Kharif crop and for commercial crops and 5% for horticulture. The rest of the premium will be paid by central and state governments, sharing them on a 50-50 basis. Again, 90-10 in case of hilly states. All right, 50-50 for normal states, 90-10 for hilly states. So again, it's a centrally sponsored scheme. All right, it is a scheme centrally sponsored. Both of them will share the burden. Understand this. I hope you have already understood it, but just clarifying it. That suppose if I am taking an insurance of 1 lakh rupees, then and suppose it is a horticultural crop, then as a farmer I will pay 5,000 insurance premium. If by chance the insurance company is demanding a higher premium, say the insurance company is demanding 15,000, 15% premium, then I will pay 5,000 and the central and state government will pay 10,000 together, 50-50 share, and the entire 1 lakh insured amount is mine. So tomorrow if my crop goes bad, then I can claim that insurance from the company. So how is that done? So you change the paragraph and write, before every cropping season, mind you, sowing season, farmers have to register under the scheme and after the crop is ready for harvesting, the state government will conduct a crop cutting evaluation to estimate the actual production in that season. I hope you understand that जब crop आप sowing के लिए ले गए तो वहां आपने register किया, और जब harvesting के पहले हुआ time तो crop cutting evaluation होगी, which is nothing but estimating the crop. Then what is done is, this crop cutting evaluation minus average crop yield upon average crop yield into 100, this becomes the loss or gain in percentage terms. This becomes the loss or gain in percentage terms. I hope I'm reaching you on that. For example, suppose, what is this average crop yield? The historical numbers, last 5 years, last 10 years, what is the crop yield? Suppose that yield is 100 kg. Suppose I got a crop 70 kg, the crop cutting evaluation. That means I can say that the farmer made a loss of 30%. You understand that? And in that case, accordingly, the farmer can be compensated. The farmer made a loss of 30%, and accordingly, the farmer can be compensated. Do I believe I reach you on that? So this is about Fasal Bima Yojana. That you, and this is on Rabi crop, Kharif crop, horticulture, commercial crops, all of them. The facility for the farmer is there. All right. In the same thing, you write, the scheme has benefited more than 4 crore farmers. The scheme has benefited more than 4 crore farmers, and the budgeted amount of central government has been in the range of rupees 15,000 crore. It's around that. Like sometimes, some years it has been 14,000 crore, some years it has been 17,000 crore, but average has been around 14,000 crore. That range it has kept following. The payment made has always been more than 15,000 crore by the central government, all right, under Fasal Bima Yojana. So when you talk about this Fasal Bima Yojana, or when we speak on this Fasal Bima Yojana, the point that again comes up is when we are what we are trying to achieve is give the farmer a security that you can experiment with your crops, you try growing better quality crops, and by chance if there is a loss, we will compensate you with an insurance. Now what are the benefits of it? You write below that, benefits of PMFBY, benefits. Multiplying it by the price of the crop? No. It's like farmer will first register themselves with the PMFBY, and then after a month the farmer will be visited by the field officer. The farmer will pay the premium, and the farmer will then be entitled to receive, because the field officer visits to check if the farmer is actually growing something. All right. Then after that the farmer is entitled to claim a benefit if there is a loss. And then before the harvesting season, say 3 weeks before, 2 weeks before, the state government will visit them. They will do the evaluation. And when I say 30%, so it's about the yield is that much less. They will check with the market value that what is the price farmer could have recovered selling in the market. That much is the loss of the farmer. Whatever is the insured amount of the farmer, if the loss is higher than that, then the farmer will get insured amount. If the loss is lesser than that, then the farmer will get the loss amount. The way normal insurance plays out. All right. I hope everybody is clear on that. As I said, more than 4 crore have been the beneficiaries. Beneficiaries, yes. That is what it suggests, no? The number of beneficiaries means number of participants who will be there. All right. Okay, you write within that benefits, first point in that. It will reduce farmers' dependence. It will reduce farmers' dependence on borrowings in case of a crop failure. So remember, when we say it reduces farmers' dependence on borrowings in case of a crop failure, what happens otherwise? If my crop fails, to buy the next crop or next seed, next fertilizer, I will have to borrow money from the money lender. Now I'm getting compensated. I'm not dependent on anybody to borrow, and that is one safety net that I get. Two, you write, it removes the requirement of loan waiver because insurance companies can compensate the banks. Insurance companies can compensate the banks. I hope you understand that. My crop failed, I had taken a loan, I can't pay back, my insurance company will. Alright, so insurance companies can compensate the bank. In fact, शुरू में यही किया गया था. In 2016 when it was introduced, they had made it a compulsion that if you are a farmer who has taken loans from the bank, then you will have to take the Fasal Bima Yojana. It was mandatory. Then some farmers were resisting it. They said this is imposed on us and this is not a fair thing to do. And then it was said, okay, then it is a voluntary thing. You want, you can choose it. You don't want, you don't choose it. That was from 2022. All right, that is what was introduced. But earlier it was a scheme connected to lending. That अगर आप borrowing कर रहे हैं, तो फसल बीमा योजना लेनी ही पड़ेगी. बाद में सरकार ने फार्मर्स थोड़ा गुस्सा हो गए कि मुझे क्यों फोर्स कर रहे हो. तो सरकार ने बोला ठीक है, जिनको लेना है ले लें, जिनको नहीं लेना है नहीं लें. इसमें एक चीज हमेशा ध्यान रखिए. We are financially less literate as a country, so people don't understand the meaning of insurance. अब मैंने लाइफ इंश्योरेंस लिया मान लो और मैं नहीं मरा तो मुझे पैसे नहीं मिलेंगे ना. उसमें यह कहना कि इंश्योरेंस कंपनी ने मेरे साथ धोखा किया, धोखा तो ईश्वर ने कर दिया. तो ये समझना जरूरी है क्योंकि ये कहानी शुरू हो गई थी हमारे देश में. That 2016 it started and there were good monsoon seasons, so good cropping happened and the losses were not there. And then Sharad Yadav ji, he is no more now, unfortunately, but Sharad Yadav ji would be a big farm leader in Bihar, Janata Dal के member थे. तो वो बोलना शुरू हो गया कि ये तो स्कैम चल रहा है, किसानों से पैसे लिए जा रहे हैं लेकिन उन्हें दिया कुछ नहीं जा रहा. तो ये अब शरद यादव जी ये बात नहीं समझते हैं, ये मानना मुश्किल था, बट ये हमारे यहाँ चलता है दैट किसान नहीं समझेंगे, ये बात वो जानते थे. But I can tell you, look, this is a scam. You are paying 1.5 or 2% and you're not getting anything in return. But insurance is where you don't get anything in return. You get the peace of mind in return that if a loss happens, I will be compensated. So you don't get anything in return, any money in return of that. अब farmers की गलती नहीं है, urban areas में बहुत लोग रहते हैं जो ये मतलब नहीं समझते. इसीलिए हम इंश्योरेंस और इन्वेस्टमेंट मिक्स करने वाली कंट्री हैं कि लोग आके बोलते हैं अच्छा आप इंश्योर करेंगे 30 साल अपना पैसा लगाएंगे तो आपको बाद में इतना पैसा मिलेगा. बट व्हाट इज द मनी दैट LIC गिव्स यू? 6% रिटर्न, 6.5% रिटर्न, हार्डली बीटिंग इन्फ्लेशन. When you tell LIC why are you giving us such a less money, they say we are insuring you also. But how do they insure us? Hardly. You pay a heavy premium and get insured for a lesser amount comparatively. So that is where a modern economy, modern people do what? If I want insurance, I will take a term insurance. I pay some money to you. I want nothing back. You insure me high. So in a term insurance, you can pay 8,000, 10,000 per annum. You won't get anything in return, but you are insured up to 1 crore rupees. You understand that? The same thing in a investment-based insurance scheme is that if you pay a 10,000 insurance premium, you will never be insured for more than 8 lakh or 10 lakh rupees. You know, so you get 10 times more insurance if you say, I don't want the money back. And why should you want the money back? You're insuring yourself. Rather, save that money. आप मान लीजिए 1 लाख रुपया का इंश्योरेंस लेते तो 1 करोड़ का इंश्योरेंस मिलता. अब आप 10,000 का टर्म इंश्योरेंस लीजिए, 1 करोड़ का इंश्योरेंस मिल गया आपको, 90,000 बच गए, इसको म्यूचुअल फंड में लगा दीजिए. 30 साल बाद अगर आप जिंदा हैं तो ये 1 करोड़ से बहुत बड़ा अमाउंट रहेगा. तो आपके पैसे भी मिल गए, आप इंश्योर्ड भी रह गए और आपने उतना ही पैसा लगाया जो आप सिर्फ इंश्योरेंस कंपनी को दे रहे थे. पर इसी को फाइनेंशियल लिटरेसी बोलते हैं. सो व्हेन पीपल आर नॉट फाइनेंशियली लिटरेट, दे लुक फॉर इंश्योरेंस प्लस रिटर्न. And then the returns are also low and the insured amount is also low. That's a very inefficient way to do things. But again, that is where the challenge comes in, because then people started thinking it's a scam. It's not valid. And many people started coming out of it that नहीं मैं participate नहीं करूँगा, ये जानबूझ के करते हैं. एक बात और आप समझिए, गवर्नमेंट के तरफ विश्वास कम है हमारे देश में, उनके अपने करने की वजह से भी. That in the past government has taken some steps, done few things where people trust the government less because of the manipulations in the government, because of the exploitations that people have gone through. So even if government is trying to bring in a scheme, the government will have to demonstrate it for 5, 6, 7, 10 years that the scheme is fruitful, it is helping you go well, then only people might start participating more. Hand holding, training, regular continuity in the scheme, all that is very important. When you do all that, then over the period people start trusting you, they start joining you and so on. So ये कुछ हमारे challenges हैं सभी नए schemes में, फसल बीमा योजना included. साथ में एक और दिक्कत होती है, कभी कभी bankers and insurance companies are also not trained, as to how to handle these schemes, because you're talking to farmers who may not be very literate, you're talking to people who may not know the nuances of the market and so on. एक बात और, जब मैंने कहा market price से इनकी value decide होती है, वो APMC market है. All right, the market price value determination is APMC market, that whatever is the price in the APMC market, accordingly it will be given to you. In case the APMC market is not selling that product, that's very rare, but in case the APMC market is not selling that product, then it will be the nearest agricultural mandi to your selling place. कि आपके गांव के जो नियरेस्ट एग्रीकल्चरल मंडी है उसकी वैल्यू ली जाएगी वैल्यूएशन करते हुए. ऑलराइट, ओके. देन यू एक और बात समझिएगा आप लोग, एक ये भी हमारे देश में दिक्कत है कि हम लोग पॉलिसी बनाने के 2 साल में पूछते हैं क्या नतीजा निकला. यू अंडरस्टैंड दैट? तो ये एक और दिक्कत है, दैट व्हेन यू मेक अ पॉलिसी you will have to keep continuing with it, remain consistent with it, say for at least half a decade, to even assess it properly. In a couple of years, I can always show that the policy is not that successful, because the policy would have hardly taken shape. All right, so all these major challenges you should keep in mind about analytical idea of a policy making. Okay, then you write below that, you wrote first point on benefits, 2 points. Third, you write, no, you know why? Because the loan will be paid by insurance company only in case of a crop failure. So moral hazard happens if I could have made the insurance company pay my loan in any circumstance. But now there has to be a crop failure to pay the loan back. Also, the insurance has a clause that if there is any deliberate damaging of the crop, you will not get insurance. All right, that is there. कि आपको अगर आपको deliberate damage करते पाया गया तो आप insurance नहीं मिलेगा आपको. That is a clause in the insurance without doubt. That is why there is no insurance against fire. All right, and there is no insurance against earthquake. इन दोनों के against कोई insurance नहीं है. Earthquake आ गया तो आपको insurance नहीं मिलेगा, और fire लगा है तो insurance नहीं मिलेगा. All right. हाँ, earthquake इंसान नहीं ला सकता, ये बात तो है, लेकिन वो force majeure clause होता है, act of God, that we could not have prevented it. Okay. Then you take this up. Next point you write, it will encourage the farmers to take small risks and practice crop diversification. Take small risks and practice crop diversification. Crop diversification, comma, specially growing crops like oilseeds, cotton, and practicing horticulture, to increase their return. All right, and then one more you write, it has the potential, it has the potential to increase farm productivity, farm productivity as farmers will initiate mechanization even if it implies relatively higher cost of production. See, once the farmers know they are covered on their risk, they might be willing to take slightly more risk by mechanizing, taking, say, tractors or threshers on rent, producing things and increasing their productivity. Then you write challenges in PMFBY. Yeah. But when you again make it a compared to the total area that we have, then it doesn't look that large. Like we have large area under cotton because we are a large country. But if you divide it by the size of the country, then you will see that the area devoted to cotton is much lesser, say compared to a wheat or a rice or even a sugarcane. Even pulses or even millets. So we can improve upon that in cotton. Also, it's quite paradoxical that with the BT cotton evolution we did not allow because of a lot of complications that happened in legal matters. So now the cotton productivity has almost stagnated in India. It is higher than what it used to be, but stagnated. So last 3-4 years we are a net importer of cotton in India. That is not good news again, that ideally we should be producing more. All right. Okay, then you write next point. Challenges, first point, yeah. You write lack of financial literacy results in making the farmers dissatisfied if they don't receive insurance compensation when there is better crop. When there is better crop अच्छा हुआ इसलिए इंश्योरेंस नहीं मिला, फिर भी नाराज रहते हैं कि हमें क्यों नहीं मिला, ये कुछ पैसा तो मिलना चाहिए था. All right. Then second, you write ये हाँ दिक्कत है, लेकिन उसकी वजह से पार्टिसिपेशन लो हो जाती है, तो उनको इन्फॉर्म करना पड़ेगा इसका सॉल्यूशन ये है. ठीक है, पार्टिसिपेशन लो हो जाती है, उसके बाद फिर अगले साल आते ही नहीं है, कैसे कोई फायदा नहीं मिलता नहीं कुछ. ठीक है. ऑल राइट. अभी तो ईश्वर करे तुम आईएएस बनो, तुम भारत की रैशनैलिटी फर्स्ट हैंड देखोगे बहुत कुछ, हाउ पीपल वुड टॉक. ऑल राइट. कभी कभी फैमिली में देखने को मिल जाती होगी. हम सबके फैमिली में तो हर तरह के लोग हैं, तो मिल जाते हैं काफ़ी लोग इर्रेशनल, कुछ बोलेंगे, अजीब सी बात कर देंगे, फिर तुम उनको समझा भी नहीं सकते, समझाने जाओगे तो और कुछ अजीब बात निकलेगी. So it's like that. Okay, you take this up. Then second point, you write delays in insurance premium. Delays in insurance premium due to, I repeat, delays in insurance premium due to lack of timely crop cutting evaluation, lack of timely crop cutting evaluation, and lack of timely contribution by state government. Many state governments got upset that if it is a 50-50 scheme, why should it be called a PM soil health card scheme? Alright, वो कह रहे थे कि इसको प्रधानमंत्री मुख्यमंत्री योजना बताइए, तो हम पैसा देते हैं, नहीं तो नहीं देंगे पैसा. तो उसमें भी डिले चल रहे थे, बहुत ज़्यादा डिले हो जाते थे. तो this is, I was saying this in the previous GS class I was taking in the just before your class, that the real challenge to implementation of any program happens when there is acrimony between political parties who are in power and who are in opposition. Because then nobody tries, seeing sense. Everybody is looking at how do you pull down the other. And then how do you reach a conclusion? How do you reach some method? So this is the challenge that at times you have. You can disagree with me on that, but believe me, one big reason that we are looking at finding a solution to the farm dispute is because of farmers not being allowed to come to the border of Delhi. So there is less media glare, there is less publicity, and there is more hardship. Understand that. You can disagree with my comment always, but I've always believed in speaking out. ये मेरी आदत है, I stick my neck out when I'm convinced about something. Till I'm not convinced, I keep quiet. जब पिछले बार दिल्ली आ गए थे तो 1 साल टिक पाए, क्योंकि दिल्ली सरकार का इम्प्लिसिट सपोर्ट था. आप टिकिए, आपको खाना मिल जाएगा, कंबल मिल जाएगा. आप देखते हैं उनके जो वॉशरूम्स थे बने हुए, जहाँ पे फार्मर्स रुके हुए थे, पिछली बार की बात कर रहा हूँ मैं आंदोलन की, वो बहुत बार नॉर्मल वॉशरूम से ज़्यादा पॉश थे. The food availability and all was all made proper. Now there was a problem. They were stopped on Haryana border. So now the media publicity and all is less, because media houses also feel Delhi है तो सबका ऑफिस नोएडा में है, तो सब बोले जा भाई जाओ, तुम भी कवर करके आओ, तुम भी कवर करके आओ. अभी भेजना पड़ेगा वहाँ हरियाणा, छोड़ो, एक ही क्लिपेज ले लो, बार बार दिखाते रहेंगे और एनालिसिस करते रहेंगे. अब देखिएगा इस बार हार्डली दे आर गोइंग देयर. सो व्हाट दे डू इज दे हैव टेकन their clips, and those same clips keep getting played again and again. तो एक तो वो मीडिया ग्लेयर नहीं मिल पा रहा था, तो वो एक आपको वीक करता है, आपको लगता है अरे मैं उतना हीरो नहीं बन पा रहा जितना मैंने सोचा था मैं बनूंगा. दूसरा, स्टेट गवर्नमेंट का टैसिट सपोर्ट नहीं है, पंजाब गवर्नमेंट का हो भी, हरियाणा गवर्नमेंट का है नहीं. सो यू आर नॉट गेटिंग द लॉजिस्टिक्स as good as what you got in Delhi, because the tacit support of state government is not there. And thirdly, they have been trying it quite a bit, but it is not becoming an all India thing, because the problem is MSP is not available all India. So nobody is seeing much sense in it. कि क्या बात हो रही है, MSP पक्का कर दो, MSP मिलता ही नहीं है, पक्का किसको करो? It's like saying बिजली 24 घंटे आनी चाहिए. जिसके यहाँ बिजली नहीं है वो बोलेगा 24 घंटे क्या आनी चाहिए, क्या लाने की बात कर रहे हैं? तो थोड़ा बहुत मोबिलाइजेशन होता है, लोगों का बोलते हैं नहीं हो पाया, तो उससे क्या होता है, बार्गेनिंग चिप ईजियर है टू फाइंड अ सॉल्यूशन. Then you are more willing to solve, because you also need a solution. The government will need a solution, because surely for the central government they are not good optics just before the central elections. तो उनको भी solution चाहिए. जब दोनों साइड को solution चाहिए तो जल्दी निकलता है. लेकिन solution कब चाहिए? जब दोनों साइड जानते हैं मेरी जान आफत में है अभी. Some face-saving thing should be brought out. So those face-saving things are happening, and thankfully both sides are talking positive. But the point I'm trying to drive home to you is that this is a challenge, that sometimes agriculture becomes a hostage of politics behind it. तो फार्मर के वेल-बीइंग के बारे में सोचने से ज्यादा ये सोचने लगते हैं लोग कि अच्छा इसको पॉलिटिकली कैसे यूज किया जाए. Then it becomes a challenge. That is my limited point. फिर डिबेट नहीं हो पाता उस बात को लेकर, फिर झगड़ा झंझट चलेगा, कुछ बात होगी, फाइनली यू one side or the other side they will do it. So again I repeat, stopping people before they reach Delhi border was and believe me, if someday I can get Kiran here, that day itself I had told her that now we will find a solution. These guys have been stopped before reaching Delhi, so that entire media glare and everything, you're not getting anything. Then that kind of feeds you. It's why was it frustrating for us to teach you during pandemic? At least it was for me. Frustrating is a strong word maybe, but it was saddening surely to teach during pandemic. Looking at myself in the camera and talking, तो वो मुझे लगता था I will grow from your energy. आपके समझ में आई बात, आपने कोई बात कही, तो फिर उससे मैं ग्रो करूंगा. ये क्लासरूम का बेनिफिट होता है. आप क्लासरूम में आके क्लास क्यों करते हैं? You grow from others' energy. किसी ने कोई बात कही तो आपका भी दिमाग चल गया, टीचर ने बोले उनसे आप कुछ सीख लिए. अब जब आप अकेले होते हैं तो वो एनर्जी बहुत ज़्यादा लगानी पड़ती है. ये नहीं कि आप डेवलप नहीं कर सकते, पर बहुत ज़्यादा लगानी पड़ती है, बहुत इन्वॉल्व रहना पड़ता है अपने क्लास के साथ. नोटिफिकेशंस को ऑफ रखना पड़ता है, कोई आए जाए नहीं उस रूम में. नहीं तो क्या होगा, नॉर्मली मैं ये बोल रहा हूँ, आप ऑनलाइन पढ़ रहे हैं, मान लीजिए जैसे आप लोग काफ़ी लोग अभी पढ़ रहे हैं, कोई रूम में एंटर ही कर गए बाई चांस, अच्छा इतने में मैं कुछ बोल गया. फिर कभी कभी आप लोग तो फिर भी शरीफ लोग हैं, इस बैच में तो मैंने किसी से नहीं मिला, बहुत बैचेस मुझे मिले जहां पर लोग सडनली बोलते थे, सर कुड यू रिपीट, माय वीडियो वाज बफरिंग. आई वुड जोक विद देम, योर वीडियो वाज नॉट बफरिंग, योर माइंड वाज बफरिंग. तो जब माइंड बफर करता है ना, वो यही है, माइंड बफर कर, वो तो क्लासरूम में बैठे बैठे भी कर सकता है. 2 मिनट के लिए बफर कर गया, कहीं मैं बोल रहा हूं तुम वहां पे वहीं घूम रहे हो, फिर तुम जागे जब तक मैं कहीं और पहुंच गया हूं, तो तुम्हें लगा रहे ये कहां पहुंच गया ये. तो ये बात समझा रहा हूं ये, लेकिन उसका बेनिफिट क्या है, सामने है तो मोटिवेटेड है, अलग कर दीजिए वो मोटिवेशन खत्म हो जाती है. तो ये आपको समझा रहा हूं दैट पॉलिटिसाइजेशन भी इसी तरह से होता है. ऑप्टिक्स मैटर अ लॉट इन पॉलिटिक्स. हैड इट नॉट बीन हरियाणा बॉर्डर बट दिल्ली बॉर्डर, द सॉल्यूशन वुडंट हैव बीन दैट सिंपल. बट इट्स डिस्टेंट, हरियाणा बॉर्डर समवेयर, यू कांट क्रिएट दैट मच ऑफ an impact as you would when you are a national capital border. तो ये सारी बातें मैटर कर, बट ये पॉलिटिक्स है उसका, ये इकोनॉमिक्स नहीं है. अंडरस्टैंड दैट. जिस सॉल्यूशन की तरफ जा रहे हैं वो अच्छा सॉल्यूशन की बात है, दैट क्रॉप डाइवर्सिफाई करिए और क्रॉप सरकार खरीदे. दैट यू ग्रो मस्टर्ड, यू ग्रो मेज, you grow pulses rather than wheat and rice. You grow cotton, and the government will buy it through its marketing agencies rather than maybe necessarily an APMC. So that will gradually make the farmers realize that there is life beyond APMC and there is life beyond wheat and rice. And that gives a much better solution over a long run also, compared to saying that, okay, you sell it at APMC and take an MSP, an assured MSP. It wouldn't last very long. It doesn't go very long. Bolo. As I told you, because the different routes have all been blocked. हरियाणा होके ही दिल्ली आ पाओगे ना पंजाब से, उड़ना पड़ेगा नहीं तो. See the map. What else can you do? How do you come from Punjab to Delhi? You will have to cross Haryana or you will have to cross Western UP. अब दोनों जगह जो सेंट्रल रूलिंग पार्टी है उनकी गवर्नमेंट है, और 2020 के एक्सपीरियंस से वाइजर हैं ये लोग. इनको पता है क्या हो सकता है अगर दिल्ली के गेट तक पहुंच गए तो. नहीं पहुंचने दिए, ये नॉन फैक्ट था. क्यों वहां पे रोकने की कोशिश हो रही थी कि अब ना पहुंच पाए. ऑल्सो व्हेन यू सेड डिफरेंट रूट्स, all routes are not as convenient. You can't run 100 tractors on a route which is not well developed. तो तुम्हें एक साथ 500 ट्रैक्टर भी तो लाना है, 1000 ट्रैक्टर लेके आना है, उसको लाने के लिए वो रोड भी तो होनी चाहिए तरीके की, नहीं तो कैसे लाओगे. How do they come? Also remember, it is not supported a lot by farmers in other states. You hardly see farmers from even Rajasthan dropping in. Farmers from Western UP are also not come in as yet. तो ये क्योंकि एमएसपी उतना बड़ा, पिछली बार तो था कानून बना था, तो कानून ने सबको ज्वाइन कर दिया था कि इस कानून में हम लोगों के साथ कुछ गड़बड़ी हो जाएगी, ये कानून गड़बड़ है. इस बार कोई कानून थोड़ी बना है, इस बार तो अपनी मर्जी से बोल रहे नहीं हमें ये मांगे हैं आप पूरी करिए. तो ये तुम्हें बोल रहा हूं कि ये पॉलिटिसाइज्ड है बहुत ज्यादा. तो जब पॉलिटिक्स रोल प्ले करता है तो इकोनॉमिक्स तो नहीं चलेगा वहां. ऑल राइट. प्लस अगेन, unlike last year, the government is thankfully sending central government ministers to talk to them. Then you lose the moral capacity to attack. तुम मान लो धरने पे बैठे हो, और मेरे खिलाफ बैठे हो, मैं बोलता हूँ मैं बात करता हूँ तुमसे, तो तुम पत्थर कैसे फेंकोगे? मैं तो आ रहा हूँ तुमसे बात करने, मैं ना आऊँ तो तुम पत्थरबाजी कर सकते हो, तुम गुस्सा हो सकते हो। करो मैं बात करने को तैयार हूँ, रुको बैठो बात करते हैं। तो ये लास्ट टाइम से वाइजर है सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट भी, तो वो कर रहे थे, इसीलिए उनको दिल्ली तक नहीं आने दिए। पिछली बार तो इसीलिए दिल्ली तक पहुंच गए थे ना, क्योंकि किसी ने रोका नहीं था बीच में। रोक लेते तो दिल्ली तक नहीं आ पाते। पिछली बार भी तब कुछ और सोल्यूशन निकलता। ये पक्की बात है, ऑप्टिक्स बहुत मैटर करते हैं, आप ये हमेशा समझ के रहिए that optics matter a lot, positively and negatively. I'm not saying only negatively, positively and negatively. Central government doesn't want the optics of being seen on the wrong side of farmers, so even they are looking for a solution. कैसे क्या सॉल्यूशन करें, कैसे निकाला जा सकता है? तो अच्छी बात है ना कि सॉल्यूशन निकल रहा है कि क्रॉप डाइवर्सिफाई करो। एक चीज जो मैं फार्मर्स के फेवर में हमेशा सोचता हूं और बोलता भी हूं, आज भी सुबह किसी को बोल रहा था कि सोचिए जब तक वो नहीं चिल्ला रहे थे तब तक कोई बात भी नहीं कर रहे थे ना उनसे। अब लोग कह रहे हैं चिल्लाने का तरीका गलत है, चिल्लाने की जरूरत नहीं है, वो अच्छे से भी तो बात कर सकते थे। बट जब तक बात अच्छे से कर रहे थे सुन कहां रहा था कोई? अखबार में एक आर्टिकल नहीं छपता था, कोई सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट मिनिस्टर तो छोड़िए, कोई ब्यूरोक्रेट भी जाके बात नहीं कर रहे थे। एक बार उन्होंने हंगामा कर दिया, सब बात करने पहुंच गए, अखबार में रोज एक आर्टिकल आ रहा है, हम लोग रोज चर्चा कर रहे हैं। तो फिर तो हमने फोर्स किया कि आप हंगामा करिए, हमने नहीं फोर्स किया होता तो बात वैसे भी नहीं पड़ सकती थी। तो आप समझिए ये डेमोक्रेसी में कभी भी साइड मत लो, उसको पॉलिटिकली मत देखो कि अच्छा ये मोदी जी के प्रो बोलना है या उनके अगेंस्ट बोलना है, ऑपोजिशन के प्रो। पॉलिटिक्स तो अपनी जगह चलती रहेगी, बट व्हाई डू पीपल रिएक्ट, व्हाई डू पीपल गो ऑन अ प्रोटेस्ट? Why it's easy for us to say why don't they follow a more civilized method, but the problem is that nobody was listening till they were following that civilized method. That also is a challenge. The government should learn from that fact regarding other problems in the market or the economy. तो इसीलिए ये बात समझा रहा था मैं। बट अदर रूट्स वेरी डिफिकल्ट टू कम टू दिल्ली। मोस्ट ऑफ देम 3 मेजर रूट्स हैं, तीनों ब्लॉक्ड हैं, जो पंजाब से हरियाणा ला सकते हैं तुम्हें, और उसके बिना दिल्ली नहीं आ सकते। हाँ, नैफेड खरीदेगा ना, नेशनल एग्रीकल्चर मार्केटिंग फेडरेशन। तो नैफेड कोई एपीएमसी थोड़ी ही है, मार्केटिंग कोऑपरेटिव है सरकारी, वो खरीदेगा सर फार्मर से। एपीएमसी मंडीज नहीं खरीद रहे, तो ये तो अच्छी बात है, किसानों को समझ में आएगा कि अच्छा कॉन्ट्रैक्ट फार्मिंग कैसे होती है। 5 साल के कॉन्ट्रैक्ट की बात की गई है ना, कि 5 साल का कॉन्ट्रैक्ट दिया जाएगा किसानों को, और वो दाल ग्रो करें, वो मेज ग्रो करें, वो कॉटन ग्रो करें, और नैफेड खरीदेंगे या फिर सेंट्रल कॉटन अथॉरिटी खरीदेगी। तो इससे क्या होगा कि ये कॉन्ट्रैक्ट चलेगा 5 साल का, ठीक है। तो उसमें फिर रीनेगोशिएशन ऑफ कॉन्ट्रैक्ट होगा, किसानों को सीखने को मिलेगा कॉन्ट्रैक्टिंग कैसे होती है। गवर्नमेंट ऑथराइज नहीं, गवर्नमेंट ओन्ड कंपनीज हैं ये, कोऑपरेटिव्स हैं मतलब, लेकिन एपीएमसी नहीं है, ठीक है। Yes, because the food subsidy is given to the consumer, the farmer gets a cheaper rate because finally the money is taken by the trader. But do they get MSP? That is the larger question. And the small farmers are not the surplus providers. बट दैट इज द पॉइंट। बट द एमएसपी देने के बाद, जो मैं पिछली क्लास में तुम्हें समझा रहा था, एमएसपी देने के बाद फिर उसमें से किसान का डिडक्शन होता है ना, मंडी कॉस्ट, ट्रांसपोर्टेशन फी, स्टोरेज फी, तो उनको मिलता थोड़ी है रियल में एमएसपी। दिस इज द चैलेंज दैट दे हैव। ऑल्सो व्हाई शुड दे ग्रो व्हीट एंड राइस? दैट्स लो वैल्यू क्रॉप, दैट्स अनदर लॉस टू द फार्मर। सी, the total food that we consume never goes beyond 75 million tons. Never goes beyond that. 80 million tons even if I include fodder. चारा भी रोक लूँ तो भी 80 मिलियन टन। हम ग्रो करते हैं 330 मिलियन टन। इतना एक्स्ट्रा क्यों ग्रो करें? The National Food Security Act can remain. Government can buy as much as needed for the National Food Security Act, and the rest should be sold by the farmers in open market. Once the farmers realize that there is excess production of wheat and rice, and they are not finding the buyers, they will diversify, and they should diversify and grow other crops. What is the government? What is it that government can do? They can incentivize the farmers to sell those crops to government cooperatives. on this 5-year thing. ये जो चीज़ अभी हो रही है, आज की बात है, अब मैं आज जो आपकी क्लास के पहले क्लास चल रही थी, ये सलाह दे रहा था जब किसी ने लिखा कि सर ये समझौता हो गया है, क्योंकि ये सलाह जो मैं दे रहा था, ये पिछले 8-10 साल से ये बातें चल रही हैं इंडियन मार्केट में, ऐसे करना चाहिए. तो economists have been suggesting this solution. The problem has been the lack of political will. And the farmers have not been willing to accept the change, assuming that they should get their rice and wheat easy thing, but more money. Now they realize that's not becoming possible. So something else has to be done. तो कभी कभी राइट चांस आता है, राइट टाइम होता है जहाँ पे राइट चीजें बनती हैं. The farmer, see, recall what I told you about APMC market. The farmer goes to the APMC market, the producer, the trader will give him MSP, and the trader will go to the FCI, MSP plus commission trader will get. But when the trader purchases from the farmer, because there are limited number of traders, they manipulate the market and they make the farmer pay too many costs of participating in the market, due to which even if the farmer is offered MSP, the farmer doesn't finally get MSP. That is one. Secondly, apart from Punjab, Haryana, etc., the farmers elsewhere are getting very less MSP, the chances of getting MSP. So in order to keep food cheap for consumers, the government has kept offering it at a cheaper rate from the NFSA, in the process harming farmers' prospects of selling the same food grains at relatively better rate in the market. Market prices lesser than MSP क्यों होती हैं? आप सोच के देखिए. Why is market price lesser than MSP? Because the government releases food grain to say 80 crore people free of cost, then how many are left to consume the food grains? And you are already producing a surplus. It will push your prices down. So we are a very consumer-centered system. और हम जो अमीर लोग हैं वो भी बोलते हैं दाम बढ़ रहा है, दाम बढ़ रहा है. आप अगर वीट का प्राइस ले लीजिए, वीट फ्लावर, अगर आटा का दाम 30 रुपीस केजी से बढ़कर 80 रुपीस केजी भी हो जाए, तो एक जो अमीर घर है, अगर 4 लोगों की फैमिली मान लो, तो एक महीने में 10 केजी से ज्यादा आटा नहीं कंज्यूम करते वो. 50 रुपया भी एक्स्ट्रा हुआ तो 500 रुपए एक्स्ट्रा लगे उनके. अगेन 1 मीडियम पिज्जा. अपने बच्चे के लिए ये मंगाने समय तो नहीं बोलते कि हमारा बहुत दाम बढ़ गया, पेट पे लात पड़ गया. तो किसान को अगर देना है ज्यादा पैसा, दे दीजिए ऐसे. लेकिन वो हम नहीं करते, हम चिल्लाने लग जाते हैं बहुत प्राइस बढ़ रहा है, बहुत प्राइस बढ़ रहा है, इन्फ्लेशन हो रहा है. एक और बात भी है, हमारे कंज्यूमर प्राइस इंडेक्स जो है, दिस वाज फॉर्मुलेटेड इन 2012. It's been 11 years now. Same consumption basket we follow. India's consumption basket has changed a lot. Overweight on food and beverages. तुम सोच के देखो, इंडिया के कंजम्पशन बास्केट में 44% वेट ऑन फूड एंड बेवरेजेस थोड़ी ही है. इतना फूड एंड बेवरेजेस थोड़ी हम लोग स्पेंड करते हैं, पर वो वेट है सीपीआई में. तो नतीजा क्या है? फूड का प्राइस थोड़ा भी बढ़ा, सीपीआई झट से बढ़ता दिखता है. So these are challenges that you will see of making policies in our system. Yeah, but they know very well that even if they had agreed, the existing government would have taken the credit. And they don't have a government in Punjab because they don't have a political base in Punjab. See, politics is all about whether you are on the grassroots or not. If you are on the grassroots, then you can do some good business around. So then, I mean, the current central government party is not very much at the grassroots in Punjab. They used to piggyback Shrimani Akali Dal, and then would win few seats in Punjab, but they were never on the grassroots. They are trying it in those places, but they will find it tough. So they knew that if they agree, it's not going to help them much. But they also knew that they don't have the resources to accept this. Plus, remember, once you accept one such demand before elections, it can give rise to a Pandora's box. Then everybody will start demanding everything from you. As it is, it will begin. That people will demand many things from you just because it is election time now. So this is again a good idea not to accept, but again a good idea to see what is the alternative. Find that across. All right. Okay. But politically, I'm telling you, अगर जीतने की गुंजाइश होती, मैं आपको उसका एग्जाम्पल देता हूँ. कि कभी कभी ये हो सकता है कि आप में से जो लोग प्रो सरकार सोचते हैं वो सोचेंगे नहीं नहीं सर क्या बात करते हैं, सरकार ने अच्छा डिसीजन लिया, फिर भी आप क्रिटिसाइज कर रहे हैं। पिछले बार के फार्मर आंदोलन में वेस्टर्न यूपी इन्वॉल्व था, तो ठीक यूपी इलेक्शन के पहले कानून वापस ले लिए गए। तो पॉलिटिक्स तो सोचते हैं अभी, लेकिन उनको पता था कि पॉलिटिक्स का फायदा नहीं है, क्योंकि अगर मैं ये इफ आई एक्सेप्ट दीज डिमांड्स, इवन देन आई विल नॉट गेन। The political party already in power in Punjab, Aam Aadmi Party, they will tell the farmers, look, I told you, you protest and you will get the returns. I got the returns for you. So they are not gaining much anyway. And they don't have the grassroots to convey to the people that no, 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 it is the central government which gave you. You know, then what's the next best solution? Look good in the hands of at least the others. So how do you look good in front of you and me? By negotiating but making sure that you don't give in to the amazing demands that were being made. नहीं ले सकते हैं ना ऐसी चीजें। You can't go back on your promise. That would see look very bad. You know, optics again काफी खराब रहेंगे। दूसरा, ये wasteful expenditure या ये expenditure ऐसा expenditure है जो वापस नहीं जाएगा। This will keep increasing. So it's always good to find a solution in place of in case of an uncertainty. I think that is what would be the mindset. Okay, then you take the next thing up in across. Could you tell me the last point that you wrote? Yeah. Then you write the next point, another challenge of FBY. This is the next challenge. Lack of financial structure, like bank account, and insurance office in each village to make the scheme more effective. All right, you write the next one then. You write electronic national agricultural market. This can be your seventh one, is it? Yeah, electronic national agricultural market. Seventh one. So I'm answering your question, Divyanshi. Agricultural services in the state or central might be a better idea. Will be if you can combine all the farmers and get combine all the state government and central government and make a system where everybody takes the decision together and then implement it through the local self-government. The excess rice and wheat is kept in the godowns, Bhumika. It's all in the godowns. Some of them rot. Every year we have around 15 million tons of rice rotting in India. Yeah, we mean APMC mandis. Sambhavi, I'm answering your question. Yes, faulty soil card can lead to misallocation. I'm answering your question, Parth. All right. So understand that. ये भी एक हम अपने लोगों को बताएं कि कितना राइस या कितना वीट हम सड़ा लेते हैं। अगर वो लोगों को पता चले तो आइडिया लगेगा कि ये ना ग्रो करे तो बेहतर है. All right, that is again an aspect that we have to check. Okay. Then in this ENAM, you write in that it was initiated. It was initiated in It was initiated in 2017, full stop. Under ENAM, government is providing connectivity. Make it electronic connectivity. Government is providing electronic connectivity through APMC markets, to assure that farmers and traders registered with APMC markets can interact from anywhere in the nation. Anywhere in the nation. The government will also develop certification facility and encourage private sector to set up their own certification units. Full stop. Technology will be used to provide certification to standing crops on the land. It's like use drone technology or use satellite imagery. So that is technology will be used. That, using drones, using satellites, the crop will be assessed and the standing crop will be then given a certificate that it's a good quality crop. Why do you need that? See, if I am a farmer and you are a trader, say you are a trader in Karnataka, I am a farmer in Bihar, I need to sell something to you, then I will put my crop on the portal and I'm offering a sale. We are negotiating. But how will you be certain that that crop is genuine, has good quality, or at least the quality that I'm promising, and is in good situation? For that, certification is important. And therefore, we need certifying authorities. So government is developing its own certification authority, plus developing private sector to give these certification to make the market more credible. विश्वसनीयता बढ़ाने की बात है. That make the market more credible, people will participate better in that. All right, that is the aspect here. In the same thing, you write, ENAM facility is available on more than 1,300 APMC mandis. It's around 1360 APMC mandis, which are now under ENAM. So more than 1,300 APMC mandis, and on another 1,900 APMC subsidiaries. So, out of around 2,400 mandis, more than 1,300 are now covered, and out of 4,700 subsidiaries, another 1,600 are being covered, or 1,700 are being covered. So, out of 7,100 APMC markets, 3,000 odd is being covered under ENAM. In the same thing you write, it is benefiting it is benefiting approximately 2 crore farmers. All this is from the budget speech of the finance minister. Approximately 2 crore farmers, and trading under ENAM has crossed 3 lakh crore. Trading under ENAM has crossed 3 lakh crore. अगर कभी तुम कुछ बेनिफिट लिख रहे हो तो ये भी ऐड कर सकते हो. मैं बेनिफिट्स आपको अलग से लिखवा रहा हूं, बट यू कैन ऐड दीज बेनिफिट्स ऑल्सो along with while writing the benefits. Then you write within that benefits and with benefits you write the first point. It can encourage a national market. It can encourage a national market which will reduce farmers' dependence on local traders. I hope you understand that even if local traders are offering a lesser price, somebody outside offers me a better price, I am able to sell. एक बात और समझना आप, that again it will need support of the state government, that the state government should allow the transportation of the product outside the state because they are within their rights to stop it. The rules permit them. So again we will have to develop a center state coordination there. National agricultural market तब तक develop करना मुश्किल है जब तक सारे state government एक साथ बैठ के बातचीत नहीं करते हो कहीं. It has to be in that manner. Always keep it in mind that they got to sit together. मैं फिर repeat करूंगा, जब हम लोग आज़ाद हुए थे, we needed a unitary structure because the division of country had happened and there were a lot of threats, external and internal, on the country. But today, if we don't create a more federal structure, that can break the country. So that is why we should always think about developing federalism, creating a more federal structure. A strong center is nice, but an imposing center is not required. तो स्टेट गवर्नमेंट को कॉन्फिडेंस मिल. आप एक बात सोच के देखिए, आप हार्डली कंट्रोवर्सी देखेंगे कि जीएसटी का ये रेट खराब है, गलत है, कंज्यूमर पे नहीं लगना चाहिए. क्यों नहीं होती है कंट्रोवर्सी? क्योंकि सब मिलकर डिसाइड करते हैं. मान लीजिए कोई स्टेट गवर्नमेंट जोश में आए भी, जैसे आइजैक मैथ्यू हैं केरला के फाइनेंस मिनिस्टर, वो रह रहे के जोश में आते हैं तो कहते हैं ये जीएसटी तो गड़बड़ है. फिर कोई उनको बोलता है तुम भी तो थे उस मीटिंग में, तुमने भी तो वोट किया था इसके फेवर में. हाँ बात तो सही है, अभी इसको कैसे ज्यादा बोलूं, तो चुप हो जाते हैं. सो दैट्स अ बेटर आइडिया दैट यू डू समथिंग, ब्रिंग एवरीबडी ऑन इन पिक्चर एंड गेट थिंग्स डन अकॉर्डिंगली. तो अगर कुछ गड़बड़ भी होती है तो आप कम से कम जानते हैं कि ये जो गड़बड़ हुई या अच्छा हुआ, सब लोग क्रेडिट लेंगे या सबको डिस्क्रेडिट है. दैट मेक्स अ बेटर टीम वर्क. ऑल्सो इट व्हेन यू सिट डाउन टुगेदर एंड टॉक, it removes a lot of discrepancies. I'll tell you the example. So under a GST council, when everybody is talking and everybody is sitting down, the discrepancies in that sense are low because everybody gets other side. अगर कोई कहते हैं मुझे इतना टैक्स नहीं मिल रहा, मुझे ये चाहिए, सब लोग एक दूसरे की बात सुनते हैं. ऐसे ही अगर सोचो कि एग्रीकल्चरल काउंसिल हो जहां लोग बोले दैट ठीक है, मान लीजिए बिहार और ईस्टर्न उत्तर प्रदेश बोले दैट व्हाई शुड अ केरला और अ पंजाब ग्रो राइस, वी विल ग्रो राइस, यू गाइस बाय फ्रॉम अस एंड यू गाइस प्रोड्यूस फ्लावर और वेजिटेबल्स एंड वी विल बाय फ्रॉम यू. सो दैट वेज देयर इज मोर इंटरेक्शन, बेटर इंटरेक्शन, एंड यू ग्रो better. So a federal structure is a must. Always keep that in mind. Then only ENAM kind of things will become more successful. Then in the same thing you write, second point, it will encourage the farmers, it will encourage the farmers to diversify the crop, so that I'm repeating myself. It will encourage the farmers to diversify the crop so that they get higher value in a national market. Again, remember, if I am not burdened by the fact that I got to receive MSP only in the APMC market, I can use the APMC market for better results. You know, unburdening the farmers is very important. It sounds philosophical, but remember, it's actually economics of it, that when you make sure that the farmers can be entrepreneurs and they can take decisions based on profitability, that is the time when farmers will become rich in this country. You know, so we got to train them to be entrepreneurs. One such training is this, that okay, somebody in say West Bengal tells somebody else in Eastern Uttar Pradesh that you grow potato and we have a big potato milling unit here or a potato chips manufacturing unit here. We'll buy from you, you grow for us. So that way again the contractual system begins via ENAM. So that is again a good idea to begin with. मैं हर जगह ये बात बोलता हूँ, आपको फिर बोलूँगा. Fastest growing sector in agriculture is poultry with no MSP in it. You know, वो fastest growing sector है poultry. पिछले 4 साल में 8.5% per annum. And how is this poultry growing? With 2 major contractors in poultry. One is called the Venky's Group. I don't know whether you have heard of a football team called Blackburn Rovers. 1994 में इंग्लिश प्रीमियर लीग जीते थे, आजकल लीग बी खेलते हैं. जब से वेंकीज ने उनको टेक ओवर किया वो लीग बी चले गए. वेंकीज एक इंडियन ओन्ड कंपनी है, बट ये ग्लोबल लेवल पे पोल्ट्री बेचते हैं. अब इंग्लैंड में बहुत फेमस है ये वेंकीज पोल्ट्री. Alright, so it's the Venky's group. It has become active in India and it is training farmers. It is also helping farmers in how to save from things like bird flu, how to develop hygienic conditions for bird. It is training farmers in developing a better chicken feed and so on, and then buying the poultry from them. तो एक वेंकी है जो काफ़ी खरीद रहे हैं और एक श्रीनोंग है SHRINONG. तो श्रीनोंग एक और कंपनी है, ये भी खूब खरीद रहे हैं फार्मर्स से. तो पिछले 4-5 साल से ये खूब काम चल रहा है. 8% के रेट पे ग्रो कर रहा है, 8.5% rather poultry, and it is giving lot of income to the farmer. In fact, an estimate by ICRIAR incidentally is the place where Ashok Gulati does his research. An estimate by ICRIAR has shown that the income of poultry farmers in India is 3 times more than the MSP declared on rice and wheat per acre of land cultivation. So they say that go for that. I mean, that is A. B, the second fastest group in agriculture which is growing is fisheries, 7.5% per annum. Again, no MSP in that. Government is running a Matsya Sampada Yojana. Government is invoking the scheme, giving them support through interest subvention scheme, allowing them to export from India, allowing them to sell within India at a faster pace. The farmers are getting money. What I'm trying to, and in fact, the third fastest growing agricultural sector is dairy, 6.5%. तो अगर वैल्यू क्रिएशन करना है, इनकम दिलाना है किसान को, तो उनको एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप सिखाना पड़ेगा, बिजनेस सिखाना पड़ेगा. जो बिजनेस करेंगे, मैं हमेशा ये बात कहता हूं, जो रिस्क लेंगे वो प्रोडक्टिविटी की तरफ ध्यान देंगे, वो रिच होंगे. जो सेफ साइड ढूंढेंगे वो रिलेटिवली पुअर होंगे. ये कुछ साल की इकोनॉमिक्स में सीख गया था मैं. that you got to take risk if you want to be rich. आप सोचिए, मैं पहले भी बोल चुका हूँगा, अब बी सिंह जी अगर नेक्स्ट आईएएस सेट करते हैं तो वो रिस्क ले रहे हैं. अगर मैं उनको ऑफर करूं कि मैं पढ़ाऊंगा नेक्स्ट आईएएस पे, लेकिन आप मुझे फिक्स्ड मनी प्रॉमिस करिए, कितने भी बच्चे आए मुझे नहीं मतलब, ये मेरा पैसा मुझे मिल जाना चाहिए, तो वो कहेंगे ठीक है मैं आपको दे देता हूँ ये पैसा, मैं उनको ज्वाइन कर लेता हूँ. Then if the number of children becomes more, I cannot tell him increase my money now. Makes no sense. He took the risk. I took the safe bet. If on the other hand I would have told him, okay, look, I'm joining you and I'm not interested in a per hour, per minute basis. I will take X% of your profit, whatever happens, whatever number of children come, and I will be willing to then work with you on that basis. Say for a second, then I'm willing. आप अंदाजे मत लगाइए. आप मेरे एग्जाम्पल पे ध्यान दीजिए. क्या किया होगा इसने आकर, आप वो सब बात छोड़ दीजिए. इंपॉर्टेंट ये है यहाँ that if I am investing my money in next IAS, which say the entrepreneur will do, if they are taking the risk over there, then if the number of students is more, the workers will not have a right to say why am I not getting more. They were taking the safe bet. Understand that. तो सेफ्टी का कॉस्ट क्या है? लेस रिटर्न. अगर तुम बॉन्ड खरीदोगे तो वो इक्विटी की तरह रिटर्न नहीं देगा ना, क्योंकि इक्विटी की तरह रिस्क नहीं है उसमें. तो ये समझना जरूरी है हमें किसान को. हाँ, अब रिस्क लेते हुए आपको क्या करना है? कैलकुलेटेड रिस्क लेते हैं ना. That you need to take a calculated risk. You back yourself while taking the risk. तो अगर मुझे अपने कैपेबिलिटी में थोड़ा भरोसा होगा तो मैं कहूंगा चलिए हम पार्टनरशिप करते हैं. अगर मुझे अपने कैपेबिलिटी में भरोसा नहीं होगा तो मैं बोलूंगा देखिए ऐसा है कि मेरा पैसा मुझे पहुंच जाना चाहिए, मेरा ब्रीफकेस डलवा दो घर पे. दैट इज द बेसिक आइडिया ऑफ डूइंग बिजनेस. तो फार्मर्स को रिस्क लेना सिखाना है और सपोर्ट करना है. कैसे सपोर्ट कर सकते हैं? क्रेडिट के थ्रू, चीपर क्रेडिट. कैसे सपोर्ट कर सकते हैं? मार्केटिंग फैसिलिटी के थ्रू. कैसे सपोर्ट कर सकते हैं? इंश्योरेंस के थ्रू. That if you make a loss, this is the way you are protected. Otherwise, go for it, take some risk, earn your money, get rich. You understand that? So always remember that in life. इसीलिए जब आप कहते हैं कि मैं नौकरी करूंगा, तो तुम तैयार रहो. तुम सिक्योरिटी ढूंढ रहे हो 24 घंटे 365 दिन की. तो ये मत बोलो कि मेरी सैलरी 50 लाख रुपया क्यों नहीं है या 10-20 लाख रुपया क्यों नहीं है. तुम्हें सिक्योरिटी है कि तुम सिक्योर्ड हो अपनी नौकरी में. उसका कॉस्ट है ये कि तुम्हें वो सैलरी नहीं मिलेगी जो बाकी लोगों को मिल रही है, जो रिस्क ले रहे हैं. या वो प्रॉफिट तो बिल्कुल नहीं मिलेगा जो प्रॉफिट अर्नर्स को मिल रहा है. ये बात कार्ल मार्क्स के समझ नहीं आई थी और उनको मैं दोष नहीं दे रहा हूं. उन्होंने एक्सेसिव एक्सप्लॉइटेशन ऑफ लेबर देखा. उन्होंने जॉइंट स्टॉक कंपनीज नहीं देखी थी. उन्होंने सीईओ कल्चर नहीं देखा था. उन्होंने ट्रेड यूनियंस नहीं देखे थे. तो उनको जो नजर आया, उन्होंने कहा लेबर इज एक्सप्लॉइटेड बिकॉज ऑफ द कैपिटलिस्ट ग्रीड एंड देयरफॉर देयर शुड बी अ डिक्टेटरशिप ऑफ प्रोलेटेरिएट. अंडरस्टैंडेबल. बट वंस यू डेवलप अ मार्केट सिस्टम वेयर द कैपिटलिस्ट themselves will perish and the laborers will get their basic rights because they have a trade union, etc., it will work. Again, if the trade unions are weakened, or if the legal system is weakened, labor laws are weak, then again the capitalist greed will come up. ये भी आप समझ के रखिए कि जैसे ही आप ट्रेड यूनियन कमजोर करेंगे, जैसे ही लेबर लॉज कमजोर होंगे लेबर के खिलाफ, तो कैपिटलिस्ट तो ग्रीडी रहेंगे ही. फिर वो कहेंगे ज्यादा मैं रख लेता हूं, तुम थोड़ा कम ही रखो भाई. जैसे ही आप कंपटीशन वीक करेंगे और लेबर की ट्रेनिंग खराब करेंगे, एक स्किल्ड वर्कर थोड़े ही एक्सप्लॉइटेड होते हैं. अगर उनको लगता है कहीं पर कि उनकी बात नहीं बन रही तो वो छोड़ के दूसरी जगह चले जाते हैं ना, क्योंकि उनकी डिमांड बहुत हाई है, बिकॉज वो स्किल्ड है. So people are looking for them, searching them. तो मेरे पास आ जाओ भाई. अनस्किल्ड वर्कर एक्सप्लॉइट होता है, सेमी स्किल्ड वर्कर एक्सप्लॉइट होता है. क्योंकि उनको पता है मेरे पास ऑल्टरनेटिव कहाँ है. व्हाट डू आई डू? सो स्किलिंग द वर्कर इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. मेकिंग श्योर दैट दे कैन नॉट बी, एंड स्किल द वर्कर्स, कंबाइन दैट विद गुड कॉम्पिटिशन. सो मोर अपॉर्चुनिटीज टू वर्क एंड मोर कैपेबिलिटी टू वर्क. तब आप एक्सप्लॉइटेशन से बचा पाते हैं लोगों को. तो ऐसे ही किसान के साथ भी क्या करना है? किसान के साथ गिव देम मोर अपॉर्चुनिटी टू सेल, बेटर स्टोरेज कैपेसिटी, सो मोर इन्वेस्टमेंट्स इन देम, एंड देन मोर पॉसिबिलिटी ऑफ अर्निंग प्रॉफिट. सिखाना तो पड़ेगा. प्रॉफिट कैन नॉट बी अ बैड वर्ड इन एनी कंट्री इफ द कंट्री हैज टू बी अ डेवलप्ड वन. हमने वो एक जो सोशलिस्ट लीनिंग थी हमारी और फ्यूडलिस्टिक लीनिंग थी मोर देन सोशलिस्ट, तो हमने प्रॉफिट को बैड वर्ड बनाया. हमने ब्राइबरी को बैड वर्ड नहीं बनाया. कोई घूस लेके अमीर है उसको कभी नहीं बोलते मुंह पर कि कितने निकम्मे आदमी हो भाई, गिरे हुए घूसखोर कहीं के, कभी नहीं बोलते. बट कोई प्रॉफिट अर्न कर रहे हैं मेहनत करके भी, अरे ये तो प्रॉफिट के लिए काम करता है. अच्छी बात है ना, काम तो करता है. घूस कमाने वाला तो काम नहीं करके पैसा मांग रहा है, उससे तो बेहतर हालत में है, कुछ प्रोडक्टिव तो है कम से कम. तो ये हमारी बस ट्रेनिंग होती है यहाँ की. जैसे ट्रेन हो गए वैसे बात सोचने लगेंगे. सो उसी से डेवलपमेंट है एंटरप्रेन्योरियल फार्मर्स का. ये हमेशा दिमाग में रखोगे whenever you are concluding anything in your answer regarding agriculture, regarding farming, upliftment of farmers, always conclude with entrepreneurial development of farmers. Your conclusion point should always go that side. That farmers should be made entrepreneurs, they should not remain dependent. They should be trained into becoming that. And that is training. How you become an entrepreneur is a training. You train yourself, you take risks, you take small steps when you get into business, and you do that. It is कुछ लोग कहते हैं farmers have no history in business, no background in business. There are many people who do business who have had no background in business, including yours truly. I come from a family where when I started my company, nobody had done any business till then. सब लोग काम करते थे. We were complete service class people. किसी ने बिजनेस सोचा ही नहीं था. कंपनी खोलने की बात तो बहुत दूर की बात थी. तो ये कुछ लोग तो लुक डाउन अपॉन भी करते थे कि अच्छा बिजनेस में जा रहे हो मतलब तुम नौकरी छोड़ रहे हो, तुम किसी लायक नहीं रहे अब. तो लुक डाउन अपॉन भी होता था. So that was a different thing. But you learn your methods, you know how to do things, you take your risks, and you back your talent. That is what youth has to learn, whether farming or not farming. That is the aspect. और उसमें खुद को पहचानना जरूरी होता है कि आप क्या करने को तैयार हैं. अगर आपको लगता है नहीं सर मुझे तो नींद बहुत आती है और मैं चाहता हूँ एक कोजी लाइफ हो, सैटरडे को गोल्फ वोल्फ खेल लूँ, तो फिर आप एक लोअर एंड जॉब पकड़ लीजिए, आपके जीवन ठीक रहेगा. उसमें कोई दिक्कत नहीं है, कोई फाइट नहीं होगी ज़्यादा, आराम की ज़िंदगी तो जियोगे कम से कम. लेकिन अगर आपको लगता है नहीं सर आई कैन वर्क हार्ड बट आई वांट टू अचीव, आई वांट टू सेट टारगेट्स, आई वांट टू प्रूव थिंग्स टू द वर्ल्ड, देन यू विल हैव टू डू अ हाई प्रेशर जॉब, बिकॉज एनीथिंग वेयर यू हैव टू डू थिंग्स इज हाई प्रेशर इन नेचर. तो ये आपको और एंड बी प्रिपेयर्ड फॉर द अनटूवर्ड्स और अनप्रिडिक्टेबल्स टू हैपन, वो भी एक बात होगी. तो इसके लिए फार्मर्स को भी ट्रेन करना होगा कि अनप्रिडिक्टेबल्स हो जाएं तो कैसे रिएक्ट करो, अनटूवर्ड इवेंट्स हो जाएं तो कैसे रिएक्ट करो. ये सब ट्रेनिंग होती है. मैं फिर आपको बता रहा हूँ दैट वंस यू आर ट्रेन, क्योंकि हार्ड वर्क के लिए फार्मर को आपको ट्रेन नहीं करना है, वो ऑलरेडी 15 घंटे काम करने की आदत वाले लोग हैं. सो वी डोंट नीड टू ट्रेन फार्मर्स हाउ टू वर्क हार्ड, दे आर ऑलरेडी वर्किंग वेरी हार्ड. वी नीड टू गेट देम द राइट रिवॉर्ड फॉर वर्किंग दोज 15 आवर्स. कि जब 10 घंटे 12 घंटे हल चला रहे हैं, भाई आप सोचिए, मैंने बचपन में चलाया हुआ है, मुझे पता है कितना एफर्ट लगता है, और पुछड़ी भी मारता है वो बैल. मुझे तो यहाँ मारा था पट से, 2-4 दिन निशान था. वो चलता चलता वो बता रहे थे जो मेरे साथ थे, जो हल चलवा रहे थे, मैं भी अपना चलाता था, गाँव जाता था तो काफ़ी बार चलाया था. उस बार तक थोड़ा बड़ा हो गया था तो पंगे ले रहा था, तो उन्होंने जोर से मार दिया बैल ने. फिर मुझे थोड़ी सांत्वना मिली जब बाद में बी सिंह जी ने बताया कि उनका भी हाथ कट चुका है हल चलाते हुए. चलो मैं अकेला नहीं हूँ, इनके साथ भी कुछ तो हुआ था. बट व्हेन यू हैव डन दोस थिंग्स यू रियलाइज द हार्ड वर्क इन्वॉल्व्ड इन दैट, बिकॉज दैट इज वेरी हार्ड वर्क, लॉट ऑफ फिजिकल स्ट्रेन इज रिक्वायर्ड टू डू इट. तो उसके पैसे भी तो मिले फिर उनको, ये बात समझा. बट वो हाई प्रोडक्टिविटी होगी तो पैसे मिलेंगे, लो प्रोडक्टिविटी के लो ही पैसे होते हैं. आप रिक्शा चला के करोड़पति नहीं बन पाएंगे कभी. तो ये बात हमें समझानी पड़ेगी अपने सिस्टम में लोगों को. हमेशा एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप दिमाग में रखोगे जरूर. ऑल राइट. और मेरी इनकम सेकंड गेस करना छोड़ दो. हाँ सब बात तो ठीक है सर, होती कितनी होगी आगे. जाने दो उन बातों को, आप बिल्कुल चिंता ना करें उसकी. ऑल राइट, यू टेक दिस, देन यू राइट द नेक्स्ट पॉइंट इन नेक्स्ट बेनिफिट, दैट इज it will result in stabilizing agricultural price by changing production pattern to practice arbitrage, ARBITRAGE. Practice arbitrage, ARBITRAGE. Arbitrage is purchasing things where it is cheaper and selling it where it is costlier. Alright, that is arbitrage. कि आप वहाँ से खरीदिए जहाँ सस्ता है, वहाँ बेचिए जहाँ महंगा है. तो कैसे प्रोडक्शन पैटर्न चेंज होगा? Suppose I am a farmer who is capable of growing say apple or banana or guava, and somebody tells me that look, in my economy, my state or my district, there is a lot of demand for guava or apple or banana, but there is no supply of it. So we come into a system together, and we say all contracts say, and we say that okay, let me supply it to you. So they will buy relatively cheaper from me, and they can supply relatively costlier to their home. They make a profit, I make a profit. All right, that is the aspect. There is a question I am answering online that contract farming is allowed. Contract farming is allowed. No doubt. that is there, but unfortunately there is no law regarding contract farming. All right, that is the aspect. No, farmers are not obliged to sell in APMC. If the farmers want MSP, then they will have to sell in APMC. Parth, I hope you get that. All right. Then you take this up next. आपके ऑनलाइन मित्र भी बहुत इंटरेस्टेड हैं कि आपका क्या इनकम है. आपको मैं बताता हूँ मेरे इनकम से कोई फायदा नहीं है. आप ये सोचिए कि फार्मर की इनकम कैसे बढ़ाई जाए. उसमें सबका फायदा होगा. ओके, देन यू टेक नेक्स्ट थिंग अप. मतलब इन बातों में कितने एक्टिव, देयर आर अराउंड 20 मैसेजेस ऑन दैट. आउट गेसिंग, हमें तो लगता है आपने परसेंटेज ही लिया होगा. अब जाने दीजिए, इन सारी चर्चाओं में मैं एग्जाम्पल होता हूं बस. कोई जरूरी नहीं इसमें कुछ भी सत्य से रिलेटेड हो. ऑलराइट, दिस जस्ट एग्जाम्पल. ओके, नहीं. सो यू टेक दिस अप, देन यू राइट it will help in, next point, it will help in formalizing agriculture. It will help in formalizing agriculture. Formalizing agriculture, as all payments will happen, as all payments will happen through direct benefit transfer. That is, payment will be made directly into the account of the farmers. How does it formalize? Everything then will be on paper. Next, you write, it will save the farmer, it will save the farmer from incurring, it will save the farmer from incurring storage cost and transportation cost, storage cost and transportation cost, because they can sell their crop, because they can sell their crop from the field. They can sell their crop from the field. All right, then you write challenges. And you write first, majority of APMC markets, majority of APMC markets are still not fully functional. Are still not fully functional with respect to ENAM. With respect to ENAM. Second point you write, I hope you understand that out of 7,000 markets, hardly 3,000 are functional, so the majority are still not functional. If they are not functional, how do you make the benefits reach the farmers? All right, and why are we complaining? It's 6 years now, we are in the 7th year. So now we cannot say that abhi shuruaat hai, thoda time lagega. I mean, 6 years is a good enough time where we can develop this structure. Second, you write, yes. No, for that, the government is developing other methods like e-Rakam and all that people can sell beyond APMC market. But ENAM is directly via APMC. Like only the farmers registered in APMC can sell via ENAM. All right. Second, then you write, the infrastructure required is not present in many districts. In a bracket you write broadband connectivity. That is the infrastructure required. You need a good broadband connectivity to improve this sale, which is not at the moment present. Also remember, many states have not developed their APMC market. The state structure is weak, and that is another challenge which comes under ENAM, connected to the second point, that the basic infrastructure of APMC market being present itself goes absent. तो अब सरकार ने एक नया proposal दिया है that we will also allow you to connect through primary agricultural credit societies, PSES, because many states like Bihar or even Assam use PSES. So that is another proposal. It has not yet been finalized, but Government of India has proposed that APMC को तो connect करेंगे ही, PSES को भी connect करेंगे. Then next, you write, the traders do not trust digital certification. The traders do not trust digital certification and still value physical verification which restricts trade under ENAM. All right, then you take, and one more point you write, the state governments restrict movement of commodities. The state governments restrict movement of commodities under ENAM which creates uncertainty among traders. All right, so these are the challenges of ENAM, but overall, always conclude on ENAM as a promising venture, because the more it develops, grows, as the farmers get used to it, it has a lot of potential of making an all-India market. All right, that is what you should always conclude upon. Then you write next, PM Kusum, Kusum. PM Kusum. So, this PM Kusum has been introduced from 2019-20. This is Kisan Urja Suraksha एवं उत्थान महाअभियान. All right, that is the full form of Kusum, actually. Kisan Urja Suraksha Evam Uthan Mahabhiyan. That is PM Kusum. And the objective is to promote solar energy in agriculture and transform the farmer from Annadata, that was the language used by Finance Minister, that is food provider, to Urja Data, that is energy provider. To promote solar energy in agriculture and transform the farmer from Annadata to Urja Data. All right, that is the idea. Okay. Now, when you talk about this, iska jo announcement tha, this had happened in the budget of 2019-20 when the finance minister said that we will be introducing this scheme. The scheme has a budget of 15,000 crore to be spent till 2025. All right. Later on, it has been expanded to 18,000 crore. But initially, it was a budget of 15,000 crore, later expanded to 18,000 crore to be spent till 2025. All right. Now, what is the scheme? So you write within that, the scheme will be implemented. The scheme will be implemented in 3 parts. In 3 parts. First, you can write part A. That is how the government has described it. Part A, put a dash and write, to install solar energy production capacity, to install solar energy production capacity of 10,000 megawatt, on the field, full stop. This will be developed by encouraging the farmers. This will be developed by encouraging the farmers to install any anything between 500 kilowatt to 2 megawatt, 500 kW to 2 MW. 10,000 MW total target है, 500 kW to 2 MW per farmer target है. All right, to 2 megawatt for each farmer as solar production capacity. For each farmer as solar production capacity. Full stop. These solar plants will be connected. These solar plants will be connected to the grid. I can believe you understand the grid. From where you supply electricity to elsewhere, you store it and then supply. So to the grid, and farmer will be allowed to sell the crop directly to the grid. Yeah, you call the solar plant production also as crop. ठीक है, आप चिंता मत करिए, उसको क्रॉप का टर्म दिया गया है, पर ये इलेक्ट्रिसिटी. अगर तुम्हें कंफ्यूजन का डर है तो वहां ब्रैकेट में एनर्जी लिख लो. Energy, all right, but it is also called crop in parlance. All right, crop directly to the grid. You wrote that? Okay. In the same thing, you write, the government will, the same thing, the government will provide subsidy for installation of solar panels and it has trained solar mitras, MITRAS, friends, सोलर मित्रा है, करीब 3.5 लाख से ज़्यादा लोग ट्रेंड हैं इसके अंदर to install, to repair, to maintain the solar plants. All right, so solar mitras who will help in maintenance and repair of these plants. Who will help in maintenance and repair of these plants. Of course, along with installation, like they will install, they will maintain, repair, and so on. Then you write below that, Part B focuses on replacing 1.7 million, that is 17 lakh, 1.7 million thermal bore wells. And remember, when I say thermal bore wells, it is not only thermal bore wells using electricity, it is also thermal bore wells using diesel. And the problem is, many times in villages, the electricity supply is not regular, so they use diesel adulterated with kerosene. And all that is environmentally unsound, and that makes even the machine worse. All right, so thermal bore wells by solar pumps. I hope you understand that. Next, then you write, Part C will focus on establishing 1 million new solar pumps. I repeat, Part C will focus on establishing 1 million new solar pumps, 1 million new solar pumps in those areas which do not have grid connectivity, or regular electric supply, So these are the three parts, all right? Allowing farmers to sell, establishing 1.7 million units to replace, and 1 million fresh units of solar pumps. You write below that, and again it's a centrally sponsored scheme, and it is implemented by Ministry of New and Renewable Energy. ये Ministry of Agriculture नहीं implement कर रहा, ये Ministry of New and Renewable Energy कर रही है, MNRE. All right, ये ध्यान रखिएगा. बाकी सारे schemes Ministry of Agriculture and Farmer Welfare कर रहा है. तो उसमें मैंने कुछ लिखवाया नहीं, that it's automatic, that it's all by Ministry of Agriculture and Farmer Welfare. This is implemented by Ministry of New and Renewable Energy. So please keep that in mind. You write within that benefits, and it's a centrally sponsored scheme again. You write benefits. First, it will improve farmers' income. It will improve farmers' income by creating an alternative source of income. It will improve farmers' income by creating an alternative source of income. Second, it will help in promoting cleaner source of energy. It will help in promoting cleaner source of energy. And also reduce use of fossil fuel, which will reduce which will reduce import bill of India. Import bill of India. And that's huge when it comes to usage of electricity and usage of thermal pumps in agriculture. Then you write one more. It creates employment. It creates employment for solar mitras and therefore boosts rural economy. Therefore boosts rural economy. Fourth, it will help the farmers to earn money. Help the farmers to earn money even from their wasteland. Even from their wasteland. That is why, developing poultry, developing cattle rearing, and developing this solar farming, all this is important, that if I have a wasteland or a less productive land, then agricultural farming won't give me the return. But I have land, and land is an asset, and use that to develop the return. I hope we are clear on that. Okay. Then you write below that challenges. First, challenges. You write the scheme will require removing subsidy on thermal energy. The scheme will require removing subsidy on thermal energy, which is not plausible in the political economy. Not plausible in the political economy. Very difficult, convincing people that we are taking away your electricity subsidy, but we will give you free electricity anyways using the solar panel, but many people will resist that. All right. Second, you write, farmers need to be trained. Farmers need to be trained and supported for a sufficiently long period of time. For a sufficiently long period of time. Long period of time to make them used to the new source. And third, you write, it can result in shortage of land for cultivation. It can result in shortage of land for cultivation. Why? Because the solar panels are horizontally spread. If the farmers start making more money from the solar panels and stop using the land for cultivation, then that will be a new set of trouble that we would have invited. But again, to be honest to you, I always believe that we are so low productive that we have a lot of scope with our land. हम जैसे कुछ लोग होते हैं ना जो इतने बिगड़े हैं कि अब उनको सुधरने का ही स्कोप है, तो हमारी एग्रीकल्चर वगैरह में वही हालत है, हम सुधर ही सकते हैं, इससे ज़्यादा बिगड़े तो कैटास्ट्रोफिक ही है. I'll tell you why I say that. We are one of the least productive countries when it comes to agriculture. We match sub-Saharan Africa in many crops, not wheat. Wheat we are doing better, but in many other crops, like say when it comes to millets, when it comes to fruits, some of the fruits we grow, and so on, we are matching the sub-Saharan Africans. So we can definitely do better than that. All right, it's not a good comparison to be in. In many of the crops, Afghanistan is better than us. In many of the crops, Pakistan is better than us. Sri Lanka is better than us. So I think we can wake up to that factor, and we can believe that if we can make ourselves a little more productive, we will do better. और हमारी lack of productivity का एक बहुत बड़ा कारण है कि हम, अगेन मैं रिपीट करूंगा, कि हम एग्रीकल्चर को लार्ज स्केल पे नहीं कर रहे, हम उसे स्मॉल स्केल पे 1 एकड़ 2 एकड़ 1.5 एकड़ जमीन पे करते हैं, तो वो आपको अनप्रोडक्टिव रखेगा. सो क्रिएटिंग एफपीओज, एस्टैब्लिशिंग कोऑपरेटिव्स, दैट इज द वे टू ग्रो फॉरवर्ड. यस, यस. There is a plan still. You can put it on the water body, but then the farmers can't claim it. Maybe the village panchayat can claim it, but it won't be individual property. Also, there is a talk that rather than vertical extent of solar panels, go for solar trees. That put the poles, put your solar panels on the poles, and put them on the two sides of the of the field, so you can keep cultivating the field, and you will have some production capacity also. So there are various things that are being suggested, but important is again, see, how do you implement it? Yesterday I was telling you that in nano urea or nano DAP, that unless you don't convince the farmers that it's for their betterment, they won't do that. So most important thing is to convince the farmers that, okay, you apply this, it will help you. If the farmers are not convinced, they won't be doing that. So अच्छा force करेंगे अगर आप, तब तो और retaliation होगा. जैसे नैनो यूरिया में हम क्या कह रहे हैं कि तुम यूरिया खरीदो, फिर लेकिन अगर यूरिया तुम्हें फ्री का चाहिए या सस्ता चाहिए तो 2 बॉटल नैनो यूरिया का लेना पड़ेगा. तो किसान झक मार के ले रहा है फिर, तो उनको लगता है ये मुझ पे फोर्स किया जा रहा है, मैं नहीं खरीदूंगा इसको. यू अंडरस्टैंड दैट? सो, और या मैं नहीं यूज करूंगा, रखो ये बॉटल कहीं पे, ये कोई काम का नहीं है. सो इफ वी कैन एक्चुअली ट्रेन एंड कन्विंस पीपल दिस इज फॉर योर बेटरमेंट, एंड अगेन आई रिपीट, एवरीबडी मे नॉट बी कन्विंस्ड, बिकॉज एज आई वाज सेइंग इन योर जीएस क्लास आल्सो अर्लियर, दैट लाइफ वर्क्स इन इनर्शिया एंड इंडिया इज अ बिग कंट्री. तो जितना बड़ा वॉल्यूम इनर्शिया उतना जबरदस्त, तो चेंज होने में तो टाइम लगेगा. लेकिन अगर 10 लोग चेंज हो रहे हैं और आप उन्हें सक्सेसफुल करा लिए, then you incentivize the next 10 and the next 10 and the next 10, and then it, so if something can be demonstrably shown to be efficient, then it does reflect the numbers. All right, and we'll have to be patient on that. The idea is that actually. Okay, then like तुम एक एग्जाम्पल ऐसे ले लो कि तुम्हारी प्रिपरेशन स्ट्रैटेजी है, तो मैं एक तरह से प्रिपेयर कर रहा हूँ, फिर तुम्हें टेस्ट सीरीज में बहुत सारी बातें सिखाऊंगा, आंसर लिखना सिखाऊंगा. एक बार यशस्वी ने मुझे एक मैसेज भी पुट किया था, मैं उसका जवाब देना मिस कर गया, बिकॉज मैं अनफॉर्चुनेटली थोड़ा ऑक्यूपाइड हो गया था ज़्यादा. दैट सर, कैन यू ट्रेन अस हाउ टू राइट आंसर्स इन इंडियन इकोनॉमी? आई विल ट्रेन यू हाउ टू राइट आंसर्स इन इंटायर इकोनॉमी. दैट इज वॉट द होल टेस्ट सीरीज इज अबाउट. अभी मुझे आप पर पूरा भरोसा है कि आप नहीं जानते, तो वो सिखाऊंगा मैं आपको कि कैसे. उसके लिए मॉडल आंसर्स होंगे, वीडियो रिकॉर्डिंग्स होंगी, और लाइव वीडियोस भी होंगे, और ऑफलाइन क्लास भी होगी. वो तो सारी चीज़ें रहेंगी कि आप सीख सकें कि आंसर कैसे लिखते हैं, चीज़ों को इंटरप्रेट कैसे करते हैं, और नई बातें सीख सकें. अब जैसे मान लीजिए कोई नया डेवलपमेंट हो गया ऑन एनी पर्टिकुलर टॉपिक, मेनी ऑफ दोज टॉपिक्स आई डेलिबरेटली डोंट cover in the class. I wait that let the test series come, let a new development happen in that topic, and I can cover it up with you in the test series, and I'll give you more detailed knowledge on that. इसीलिए 8 टेस्ट्स के लिए मैं फिर तुम्हें बता दूं, 8 टेस्ट और 6 टेस्ट प्रैक्टिस टेस्ट के लिए मुझे 27-28 क्लासेस लगती हैं. मैं एक क्लास में आधा टेस्ट डिस्कस करता हूं, तो आप सोच सकते हैं 14 क्वेश्चंस डिस्कस्ड मैक्सिमम पर क्लास. दैट इज व्हाट आई डू. और उसके अंदर तुम्हें सिखाता भी हूँ, लिखवाता भी हूँ, बहुत सारे आंसर्स भी बताता हूँ, बहुत टॉपिक्स भी टच करता हूँ. लो, अब ये एक्सपेरिमेंट मैंने पिछले साल से शुरू किया है, तो अब अगर पिछले साल से शुरू किया तो इस साल कैसे रिजल्ट ढूंढूं उसमें? अभी आप एक पिछले साल का बैच निकला, आप लोग निकलेंगे, फिर एक आधा बैच और निकलेंगे, तो उनको फर्क पता चलना शुरू होगा कि अच्छा, आंसर राइटिंग सिखाने के ये फायदे हैं. टेस्ट सीरीज में एक और काम करता हूं मैं, जितने आपके खराब वाले क्वेश्चन थे पास्ट ईयर पेपर से, वो उठा के पुट कर देता हूं, जिसमें मुझे लगता है कि अच्छा शायद मेरे बच्चे यहां हिलेंगे. बस करता क्या हूं, उसका लैंग्वेज बदल देता हूं कि तुम रट रटा के ना लिख दो, और बाद में तुम्हें बता देता हूं कि देखो पास्ट ईयर में यही क्वेश्चन पूछा गया था, अभी मैंने थोड़ा लैंग्वेज बदल दिया, तुम्हें ऐसे आंसर करना था इसको. तो तुम्हारे पास्ट ईयर पेपर भी कवर हो गए, टेस्ट सीरीज में प्रैक्टिस भी हो गई. तो एक्सपेरिमेंट्स तो अगेन, एज आई वाज सेइंग, दैट the Chinese proverb that you enter into the pond and feel the pebbles to see how deep it is, and then keep moving in the pond. That is how theoretically तो कितने भी परफेक्ट पॉलिसी बना लीजिए, लेकिन जब तक उसको प्रैक्टिस में नहीं डालेंगे और वो कैसे एग्जीक्यूट हुआ, कितना आपके लोग समझ पाए. पर उसमें सोचो, अब मान लो टेस्ट सीरीज के वक्त आप में से 30% लोग या 40% लोग नहीं इंटरेस्ट ले रहे मेरे पढ़ाने में, अब मैं बाद में करूंगा, मैं दुखी हूं, मेरा प्रीलिम्स नहीं हुआ, तुम भाड़ में जाओ. अब ऐसी हालत है. अगर मान लो 60% भी लोग ऐसा सोचें, अगर मैं 60% उनकी वजह से रेस्ट 40% पे ध्यान ना दूं तो गड़बड़ होगी कि तब मेरा एक्सपेरिमेंट पक्का फेल होगा. But if I try my best that these 40 people, 50 people, 100 people who are participating in this whole exercise, make sure that they are fully prepared, तो अपने आप पक्का रखिए कि अगर हम आपको GS या ऐसे ये ऑप्शनल आंसर लिखना सिखा दें, यही मेरा एम है, और सोचना सिखा दें कि एग्जाम पेपर में कैसे सोचते हैं, प्रेशर में कैसे सोचते हैं, तो तुम अपने आप अच्छा लिख लोगे वहां पे, कुछ तो होगा ही सही तुम्हारे साथ. अब ऐसे ही मैं पढ़ाता ही रहा हूं. टेस्ट सीरीज का दिमाग में मेरे इसलिए आया बिकॉज इफ आई मेक इट अ पेड टेस्ट सीरीज, विच when I was at the other institute they would make it, and I used to suggest to them also that don't make it a paid test series, then many students cannot participate because of the fiscal constraint. कोई एक फाइनेंशियल कंस्ट्रेंट आता है कि भाई इतने पैसे दे के ऑप्शनल पढ़े, अब उसके ऊपर और 10,000 रुपीज दें, 15,000 रुपीज दें फॉर अ टेस्ट सीरीज. तो वो आसान कर दिया काम कि थोड़ा उसको टेस्ट का पार्ट बना लो, और उसके बाद भी आप लोग निश्चिंत रहिए, जिस बार आपका प्रीलिम्स क्लियर हुआ वो टेस्ट सीरीज फ्री ही है आपके लिए. क्योंकि जब तुम मेंस लिख रहे हो तो ऑब्वियसली यू विल नीड दैट सपोर्ट, एंड यू विल बी सिंसियर ऑल्सो बिकॉज देयर विल बी अ डेविल बिहाइंड यू. तो तुम अपने आप भागोगे तेज, यू नो. तो मैं वही चाहता हूँ, बट वो प्रैक्टिस हैंड होल्डिंग करा सकते हैं, आपको करना चाहिए. यही किसी भी फील्ड में रिक्वायर्ड है. स्टार्ट एन एक्सपेरिमेंट बट मेक इट रीच अ लॉजिकल कंक्लूजन. By working hard on that experiment, 50% people can be skeptic about it, 30% people may be not interested in it, but even if 20% people are hopeful about it, at least they become your next set whom you can actually work on. तो ये बहुत ज़रूरी है. मैं जब politicians से भी मिलता हूँ तो मैं ये कभी नहीं देख रहा होता कि ये कहाँ पे पॉलिटिक्स बात कर रहे हैं या कहाँ रोकने की बात कर रहे हैं. मैं अपनी बात कर रहा हूँ. मैं उस वक्त ये देख रहा होता हूँ कि ये आइडिया कौन सा एक्सेप्ट करने को तैयार है. पहले मैं थोड़ा दुखी होता था कि मैं अच्छे आइडिया दे रहा हूँ, ये सुन क्यों नहीं रहे. अभी मैं यूज्ड टू हो गया हूँ. तो अब मैं ये देखता हूँ कि मेरी कौन सी बात इनको ठीक लग रही है, वही करवा ले कम से कम इनसे, बाकी शायद ना कर रहे हो. यू नो, सो देन यू बिकम होपफुल दैट ओके कुछ तो मनवा ही लूंगा इनसे, मैं कुछ तो काम ये कर ही लेंगे. सो दैट इज द होल पब्लिक लाइफ मीन्स व्हेन यू आर डूइंग समथिंग एज अ सजेशन गिवर और समथिंग. इवन जब तुम्हें पढ़ा रहा हूँ तो मेरी यूटिलिटी किस बात में है, जब तुम मेरी बात सुनो और मानो. अगर तुम नहीं सुने नहीं माने तो मेरी यूटिलिटी तो जीरो है. फिर ऐसे ही अगर मैं सरकार को कोई सजेशन दे रहा हूँ, एक मिनट के लिए मान लें कि किसी ग्रुप में हूं मैं, तो अगर मैं सजेशन दे रहा हूं तो उनको भी तो तभी वो मानेंगे तब तो वो वर्क करेगा. नहीं मानते तो कैसे वर्क करेगा. तो ये समझा रहा था दैट कोई भी पॉलिसी जब आप रखते हैं, हैव पेशेंस, डेवलप इट एंड हैव द विलिंगनेस टू चेंज थिंग्स स्लाइटली इफ यू सी दैट थिंग्स आर not or they didn't work. We all learn by doing. My point is just that. So learn by doing. You know, जैसे आपके बैच में मेरी तबीयत खराब हो गई, हम डिले हो गए, तो अगले बैच से मैंने उनको बोल दिया है कि आप अनाउंस कर देंगे कि पहले दिन से ही 6 days a week क्लास होगी, तो हम 10 days बचा लेंगे थोड़ा. मैं नॉर्मली 5 days रखता हूं क्योंकि इकोनॉमिक्स मुझे ऐसा लगता है एक थिंकिंग सब्जेक्ट है जिसको 5 दिन पढ़ने के बाद अगर तुम 2 दिन नहीं सोचे तो तुम्हें समझ नहीं आएगी बात. ये मुझे हमेशा फील होता है. बट ठीक है, I realized that I can go unwell, and December, January had been very bad for me. So I can go unwell, and it can unnecessarily delay me. Why take the chance? Let's make it 6 days. So we keep learning. पिछले बैच में मैंने अक्टूबर में पढ़ाया था, तो मैंने रियलाइज किया ये खत्म होते हुए तो मार्च हो जाता है, अप्रैल हो गया था. तो मैंने कहा ये तो बहुत ज़्यादा हो गया, तो इस बैच को अगस्त से शुरू कर लिए. तो ये आप लर्न करते रहते हैं. मैं यही कह रहा हूँ, तुम अपनी प्रिपरेशन कर रहे हो, तुम एक प्लान बनाओगे. अब उसमें कुछ एग्जीक्यूशन में दिक्कत आएगी तो तुम लर्न करोगे. ये नहीं कि उससे दुखी हो जाना है कि अच्छा फाड़ देता हूँ पेपर, मैं तो प्लान फॉलो नहीं. लर्न करो ये प्लान क्यों नहीं फॉलो हुआ, उसको फिर अगले प्लान में ठीक कर लो. तुम प्रीलिम्स का एग्जाम देते हो, प्रैक्टिस टेस्ट, दैट इज ये अनुभव टेस्ट एंड समथिंग. नंबर कितने आए इंपॉर्टेंट नहीं है. क्यों मेरे नंबर कट गए, व्हाई डिड आई लूज मार्क, विच थिंग्स आई डिड नॉट नो एट ऑल, वेयर कैन आई डू वैल्यू एडिशन, वाज आई स्पीडी इनफ इन सॉल्विंग माई क्वेश्चन, व्हेन डिड आई गो स्लो, वाज इट इन द बिगिनिंग, वाज इट इन द एंड. दिस इज आवर प्लानिंग. तुम जब भी कुछ करते हो, तुम्हारा दिमाग अगर ऐसे चल रहा है तो तुम प्रोसेस में इन्वॉल्व हो. प्रोसेस में इन्वॉल्व हो तो एक दिन तो रिजल्ट सही हो ही जाएगा. जब तुम प्रोसेस में इन्वॉल्व नहीं हो, रिजल्ट्स देख रहे हो, आज के दिन में कितना पढ़ लिया, 15 पेज हुआ या नहीं, तो गड़बड़ हो जाती है. द प्रॉब्लम इज दैट व्हेन यू लुक फॉर शॉर्ट टर्म रिजल्ट और व्हेन यू आर नॉट केपेबल इनफ टू अंडरस्टैंड द प्लान, दैट ऑल्सो कैन बी अ फैक्टर. यू नो, ये भी एक फैक्टर हो सकता है कि आपकी एक कैपेबिलिटी है. मैं कोशिश करता हूँ उसी कैपेबिलिटी पे डिस्कशंस हो क्लास में. अब अगर मैं जैसे MIT में डिस्कशन करता हूँ वो डिस्कशन तुम्हारे साथ करूँ तो तुम कुछ कुछ फेंकोगे मेरे ऊपर कि कैसी लैंग्वेज बोल रहे हो, ये क्या ग्रीक लैटिन बात हो रही है, मुझे समझ नहीं आ रहा कुछ. बिकॉज अभी तुम छोटे हो, अंडर ग्रेजुएट्स हो, पोस्ट ग्रेजुएट्स हो, सो ऑब्वियसली उस लेवल की लैंग्वेज नहीं समझ पाओगे जब वो नॉलेज नहीं। तो मैं यहाँ ये बैठाने थोड़ा ही बैठा हूँ कि तुम्हें बताऊँ ये देखो मुझे ये भी आता है, इसी बात को ऐसे मॉडल बनाकर ऐसे प्रेजेंट भी किया जा सकता है, वो गलत हो जाएगा। तुम्हें इंटरेस्टिंग लग सकता है कुछ लोगों को, अरे वाह इसे मैथमेटिकली मॉडल बना के भी प्रेजेंट कर सकते हैं, लेकिन यूपीएससी में कोई फायदा नहीं। तो प्लानिंग हमेशा वैसे होनी चाहिए दैट व्हाट इज माय एडवांटेज, व्हाट आर माय बॉटम लाइंस दैट आई वांट टू अचीव, इफ आई एम अचीविंग देम आई एम फेयर इनफ, आई एम ऑन राइट ट्रैक, दैट इज द एस्पेक्ट देयर अगेन। Okay, then you wrote 3 benefits. Yeah, you write one more. Challenges, sorry. You write one more. It can result in reducing farming income if price of solar energy reduces and becomes lesser than fixed cost of installation. It's a very rare thing, but it can happen. Becomes lesser than fixed cost of installation. जो मैं अभी तुम्हें बोल रहा था, experimenting, working to make the experiment successful, involving people into it, all these should be the points that you will write in the conclusion to such points. Always. जब भी ऐसी चीज़ों को conclude कर रहे हो, हमेशा बात करोगे, the experiment should continue, people should be involved in the experiment, and local self-government should always be kept into picture. All such things should always come along whenever such policies are being talked about. Then you write next, you write Agriculture Infrastructure Development Fund. This is the next point on doubling farmers' income. 9th है? ठीक है, मैंने काउंट छोड़ दिया था एक्चुअली, ठीक है, 9th. Agriculture Infrastructure Development Fund. And we will keep calling it AIDF, Agricultural Infrastructure Development Fund. Okay, I'm just answering one question, that life of solar panels is 25 years, and after that no use of that. How will government deal with those all plate which will be accumulated over time? Dispose them off. 25 साल है ना, जो तुम कपड़े पहनते हो उसकी लाइफ 6 महीने होती है, पहनना नहीं छोड़ते ना, 1 साल होती है, 2 साल होती है, पहनते हैं। तो आप कभी भी ये मत सोचिए, ये एक बात नहीं मैंने सुननी शुरू की है, मैंने भी, सोलर पैनल का लाइफ लिमिटेड है, अब खत्म हो जाएगा फिर क्या करेंगे, 25 साल है ना सोचने को, सोच लेंगे, कुछ नहीं तो डिस्पोज तो कर सकते हैं उसको। तो हमेशा ऐसे सोचोगे दैट is that reason enough? Again, as I keep saying, that you have given the baby a bath, the bath water is dirty, you will throw the bath water, not the baby, no? Always remember that. हमेशा ऐसे ही सोचोगे कि बाथ वाटर फेंकना है, बेबी नहीं कि अच्छा लेनाया पानी गंदा हो गया चल भाई बच्चा भी उड़ता चला जा रहा है कहीं तो आप ये सोचेंगे कि अच्छा क्या इसकी वजह से सोलर पैनल यूज करना बंद कर दूं? आंसर है नहीं, इसका तरीका ढूंढना होगा। तो कुछ नहीं करेंगे, मैं फिर रिपीट कर रहा हूँ, कुछ नहीं करेंगे तो डिस्पोज कर सकते हैं, लैंडफिल्स में पुट कर सकते हैं, इतना तो कर ही सकते हैं। एंड देयर विल बी फ्यूचर सॉल्यूशंस टेक्निकली दैट वी विल स्टार्ट गेटिंग। So if somebody says this will be a problem 25 years later, say all right, perfect, I have 25 years to think, I'll think of a solution. Good, you raised the problem. You know, always remember it like that, but that should not become a reason that I'll not do it. Then do what? Use thermal energy, use kerosene, use diesel. That's even worse. So you got to improve upon it. All right, तो हमेशा आप ऐसा जब भी, क्योंकि अखबार में छप रहा है ये, तो शायद वेद तुमने वहीं पढ़ा होगा ये, तो ये हमें ध्यान रखना पड़ेगा। नहीं, अभी हमने कोई पॉलिसी नहीं बनाई उसके लिए। आई एम आंसरिंग योर क्वेश्चन वेद। Yes, Satyam, I think so. All right. Then you take this up, you write, AIDF was announced with Atmanirbhar Bharat with Atmanirbhar Bharat announcements in 2021. When I say 21, I mean the financial year 2021. Under AIDF, government will facilitate arrangement of rupees 1 lakh crore, and I'm smiling because when I listen to all these numbers, 1 lakh crore here, 100 lakh crore in infrastructure, मुझे लगता है अब तो कोई नहीं रोक सकता डेवलप्ड इकोनॉमी बनने से. But then when I see the constraints, unfortunately I'm an economist, so the constraints are also get visible. तो फिर थोड़ा लगता है कि अच्छा ये टारगेट अचीव कितने दिन में करेंगे या कैसे कर सकते हैं, व्हाट कैन बी द मेथोडोलॉजीज. अदरवाइज इट ऑल साउंड सो ग्रेट. 1 लाख करोड़ एग्रीकल्चर में लगा देंगे, 6 लाख करोड़ रोड पे लगा देंगे, 12 लाख करोड़ की बिजली बना देंगे. फिर पता चलता है लाओगे कहाँ से. तो वो कंस्ट्रेंट ऑप्टिमाइजेशन थोड़ा सा दुखी करता है, बट रेस्ट इज ओके. सो दैट्स व्हाई आई वाज स्माइलिंग. आई वाज जस्ट डूइंग सम कैलकुलेशंस yesterday night for a research of mine, and I was seeing the constraints. They were getting too heavy, but maybe in future something will come up. But right now that looks quite heavy when it comes to such huge numbers that we are predicting. But anyways, so 1 lakh crore. Could you tell me the line you wrote? Your 1 lakh crore between the years 2021-22 to 2031-32. And that is the hope. When you say 1 lakh crore over 10 years, it's a possibility because 10,000 crore on an average per annum looks more feasible, attainable. But again, it will need a lot of hard work. The point is that it's not that it's feasible. I'm not saying it's not feasible, but it will need a lot of hard work. सरकार ये पैसा देंगे नहीं. आप समझिएगा, arrange करेंगे through refinancing. So maybe they will use a NABARD, and they can use the public sector bank channels and the private banks and the NBFCs to arrange this loan for the private developers in the system. All right. So you write in that. Under AIDF, government will provide refinancing. Refinancing means using a financing agency to connect them to the borrowers. All right, that is refinancing. Like NABARD, say connecting a financer to the borrower. That is refinancing. All right, so refinancing to provide collateral-free loans up to rupees 2 crore, collateral-free loans up to rupees 2 crore, comma, interest subvention scheme. I hope we all understand that. When you charge an interest rate lesser than the market rate, that is called interest subvention. When you charge an interest rate lesser than the market rate. So interest subvention scheme of up to 3%, interest subvention scheme of up to 3% with 2% further subvention, in case of timely repayment, 2% further subvention in case of timely repayment. I hope you understand that. So if it is a 10% market interest rate, then people will get interest at 7%. And if they give timely payment of loan, then to 5% only, 2% further will be deducted. Okay, timely payment and providing cheaper loans to the projects with less processing cost cheaper loans to the projects with less processing cost, up to 7 years. 7 साल के जो प्रोजेक्ट होंगे उन्हें सस्ता लोन मिलेगा, इंटरेस्ट सबवेंशन मिलेगा और कोलैटरल फ्री लोन्स भी मिल सकते हैं. शर्त यह है द प्रोजेक्ट शुड बी 7 years. All right. In the same thing you write, it will mainly finance post-harvest infrastructure development. It will mainly finance post-harvest infrastructure development. I hope you all understand. That is storage. पोस्ट हार्वेस्ट का मतलब क्या हुआ? फसल को काटने के बाद आपको क्या क्या इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर चाहिए, वो डेवलपमेंट. सो व्हाट इज द इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर यू नीड? यू नीड स्टोरेज कैपेसिटी, यू नीड मार्केट कनेक्टिविटी, यू नीड कोल्ड स्टोरेज चेन नेटवर्क, you need packaging, measurement and grading facilities. This is all post-harvest infrastructure facility. You need insurance facility if you are exporting the product over long distance. So all these facilities you will need as a post-harvest infrastructure facility. You will also need drying facility in the marketplace. All this is included in that. So post-harvest infrastructure facility. In the same thing you write, it is available for food processing units, farmer producer organizations. You can write FPO, farmer producer organizations, farming cooperatives, agricultural business developers. These are mainly traders in agricultural goods. So they are called agricultural business developers. And individual farmers or self-help groups. The objective of the scheme is to reduce wastage, because again remember, if you have a good post-harvest infrastructure, the wastages will be low. The perishability will then not come into picture. So reduce wastage, promote farming income, increase employment opportunities in agriculture, and develop better harmony between agriculture and industry. What does that mean? That connecting the industry to the agriculture, say by making a mega food park or by developing processing units near that and allowing them to take money from the government and develop this. So it will be private entrepreneurs, private initiative, but government will arrange money to do all that. And then they can pay it back. It will all be loans. It will not be any kind of subsidy given, except for the subsidy on interest or the cheaper loans, collateral-free loans. But end of the day, they're trying to make it a private initiative. All right, that is the idea to keep in mind. All right, then you write the next point, 10th. Refinancing is you need money, he has the money, I connect you to him. I am a refinancer. All right. Okay. You write the next one, Operation Green. Operation Green. You put a dash and write, government introduced. मैं सभा को 15 मिनट बढ़ाने का प्रस्ताव पारित कर चुका हूं अपने मन में, तो आप इसीलिए घड़ी को 7-8 बार मत देखिए, 7-8 बार देखने पर भी वो 1 ही मिनट आगे खिसकेगी, ठीक है? तो आप ध्यान रखेंगे इस बात का। ऑपरेशन ग्रीन खत्म करने के लिए मुझे 10 से 15 मिनट चाहिए, मैं खत्म कर लूंगा, आप छुट्टी कर ले सकते हैं उसके बाद, बट यहीं तक खत्म करना मेरा आज का एम था, तो इसके बिना आपको कैसे जाने दे सकता हूं मैं? तो आप ये नहीं मत जाने दो, है ना? यही कह रहे हो ना? ठीक है, ऑलराइट, you take this, then you write ऑपरेशन ग्रीन। हाँ, ये ले लो, जानवी दे देगी, इसमें क्या है? डोंट वरी, बस उसमें आ जाएगा। यू राइट, you wrote scheme was government introduced top scheme, TOP, all in capital, top scheme. So this top stood for tomato, onion and potato. So top scheme in 2018. Then they did nothing about it. But anyways, I'll tell you, actually this happened. They introduced top scheme in 2018. And they said that we are introducing this tomato, onion, potato scheme, and we will now develop post-harvest infrastructure. We will develop cooperatives of the farmers. We will buy these things from the farmers and then sell it in the market, I mean, through the agricultural cooperatives and all, and we will make sure that the prices don't rise and fluctuations don't happen. Now from 2018, in fact, in the budget, they gave 500 crore rupees for it. But then 3 years passed, 2021 happens. Till then, no action had been taken on top, except for feasibility study and ground report preparation and all that. Now, how do you accept that I have done nothing for 3 years? You accept it by magnifying it. So what do? You say, okay, so top we are working on, but now top is not our only aim. Now we go from top to total. तो अब टॉप नहीं, टोटल करेंगे। तो टोटल करने में क्या करेंगे? Then now we will include 22 crops except wheat and rice not included, but 22 crops where this scheme will be extended. That scheme which could not be extended on 3, so this scheme will be extended over 22, and we will be using this for upliftment of the farmers, stabilizing the price, and mainly again focusing, please understand, that's why I'm taking these two as a sequence, mainly again focusing on post-harvest infrastructure. The focal point is that focus on post-harvest infrastructure. So if you develop your post-harvest infrastructure, you are kind of uplifting yourself in that manner. The idea is never bad, it's a good idea. Why? We are a country with surplus. We need to have post-harvest infrastructure to encourage farmers to grow the high-value crops. Also, we need to have a better distributional channel so that consumers don't pay very high, but farmers don't receive very less. So it's all a good idea. But the point is, the ideas work when you execute them. If you are not executing them, then nothing will happen. So what happens in our case is, we announce the scheme, we announce it at a grand scale, but we don't realize it's agriculture. So finally you have to take the state governments in confidence. So don't wait for all state governments to operate. कारण ये, अगर आपके मन में आया सर 2018 से 21 तक काम क्यों नहीं हुआ? पैंडेमिक भी आ गया, no doubt, but एक बड़ी दिक्कत ये थी that the central government was waiting when all states come into town, but that won't happen. So what we can do is, we can begin with say 10 states or 8 states, 3-4 among them can be bigger states, couple of them can be hilly states, and the political party in power in center can initiate it in those states where it is in power and create the demonstration effect. And once you create the demonstration effect, when people elsewhere will see, look, these guys are developing so well, they will also demand, and you will be able to convince others also that, look, we did this, it worked well, and now you can also kind of pick it up, and then we can go further from there. You understand that? So, अगर तुम कहोगे नहीं सब आएंगे तब शुरू करूंगा, तो सब आएंगे नहीं, शुरू होगा नहीं, साल के साल निकलते जाएंगे। 2021 में हमने ऑपरेशन ग्रीन अनाउंस किया था, आप सोच के देखिए, और हमें शर्म आनी चाहिए, हमें से मेरा मतलब है पॉलिसी मेकिंग में जितने लोग हैं एग्रीकल्चर में, कि 2018 में टॉप, 2021 में ऑपरेशन ग्रीन, and then in 2023 the tomato price fluctuates and onion price fluctuates. इसी बात पे मैं हमेशा कहता हूं कि किसी की नौकरी जानी चाहिए फिर, सिंपल सी बात है. अगर आप एक कॉर्पोरेट कल्चर में होंगे, अगर इस तरह से झूठ बोलेंगे और हरकत होगी तो पक्का नौकरी जाएगी लोगों की. आप ये नहीं कह सकते कि सर सेल्स प्रोजेक्शंस आर 100% एंड देन यू अचीव 20%, यू विल बी फायर्ड नेक्स्ट डे. तो आप एक हाई वैल्यू जॉब ही तो कर रहे हैं. जब आप ब्यूरोक्रेसी में हैं, प्लानिंग में हैं, नीति आयोग में हैं, तो हाई वैल्यू जॉब की तो हाई रिस्क भी होने चाहिए कि आपको निकाला जाएगा. अगर आपके बाद तो जब आज जैसे ही आप पे खतरा होगा कि मुझे निकाला जाएगा, आप कहेंगे मैं अपने 3 साल में जितने दिन यहां पोस्टेड हूं इसको पक्का करके जाता हूं. फिर अगले पे आएगी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी, अब तुम्हें निकाला जाएगा. तो ये बहुत जरूरी है. अगर सब लोग साहब बन के ही रहेंगे तो फिर काम कैसे होगा. और काम इसीलिए नहीं हो रहा, इसीलिए मैंने कहा कि 2018 में अनाउंस किए, 21 में टॉप से टोटल कर दिए, और उसके बाद भी 23 में onion and tomato both prices fluctuate. That's not healthy when it comes to execution part. We are definitely missing the link here. So and I tried talking to few people in the government. This is the reason they gave me. They said that when all states will come in picture, then maybe we will be able to do better. But that's, I think, a very invalid purpose to wait for. Okay, so you write it down then. You right, मैंने पहले ही कहा है सभा बढ़ गई है, जितनी बार बोतल गिरेगी 5 मिनट से बढ़ जाएगी. हम लोग देखेंगे खबरदार तूने बोतल गिराया, मैं तुझे गिरा दूंगा. Okay, you take this now. You write under top, government announced development of post-harvest facility for tomato, onion and potato, to restrict price fluctuations, full stop. This was planned to be achieved. बोतल नहीं सर, कुछ और गिर रहा है. ठीक है. This was planned to be achieved by focusing on development of farming cooperatives, and FPO. FPO is farmer producer organization, and FPO with the objective of purchasing from even small farmers. In a nutshell, it was more like an Amul model. Amul model was that even if somebody has half a liter milk, 1 liter milk, we will purchase it from them, go into interiors, pick it up from them, and then bring it for processing and other factors. All right. In the same thing you write, the product will then be processed. To improve its shelf life. That is, life to which it can sustain. उनको rotten ना होना पड़े, perishable ना रहे. Like say converting onion into dried onion is processing of onion. All right. Or converting tomato into tomato puree, processing of tomato increases the shelf life. Then you write, in 2022, financial year 21-22, in 2022, the scheme was extended to 22 crops, except wheat and rice, and it was called total or Operation Green? Then you write benefits, and it's a central sector scheme. It's not a centrally sponsored scheme. The entire expenditure will be done by the central government. It's a central sector scheme. And then you write benefits. First point in that, it will reduce wastage. It will reduce wastage. Second point, it will promote crop diversification. It will promote crop diversification. I hope you understand, 22 different crops except wheat and rice. And government is creating assurance of purchase. Third, it can increase farmers' income by producing high value crop. It can increase farmers' income by producing high value crop. And fourth, it increases employment by developing supply chain. It increases employment by developing supply chain. I'll tell you what it means. Somebody will be a storekeeper, somebody will be a plant manager, somebody will be a food processor. So that will create more and more employment in the rural areas itself, outside agriculture. All right. And you write fifth, it can reduce India's import requirements. It can reduce India's import requirements of edible oil, horticulture, etc. Then you write challenges. Challenges. First point in that, the capacity to process and store such large amount is not present in India. Such large amount is not present in India. So we produce 48 million tons of potato, we produce 22 million tons of onion, and we produce 18 million tons of tomato. इन्हीं तीन को अगर रख ले और सरकार 50% भी खरीदते हैं तो प्रोसेसिंग की फैसिलिटी नहीं है हमारे पास, स्टोरेज की भी नहीं है. तो AIDF को एक्टिवेट करना होगा. The Agriculture Infrastructure Development Fund gets activated क्योंकि खरीदेंगे तब तो ये प्रोसेस करना होगा, स्टोर करना होगा. So this is one challenge that we will have. Second, you write, the infrastructure of transportation in remote areas and rural areas will be a constraint. Remote areas and rural areas will be a constraint. Remember, the transportation infrastructure is still not fully built in many areas. It's built in many, it's not built in many. So when we procure, we will need speed in getting them to the processing center. If the speed is missing, we will again lose out because the crop will be perishable. Third, crops are of different varieties. Crops are of different varieties. Therefore, fixing price for each of them will be a challenge. Okay? Remember, unlike milk, which is homogeneous, when you look at potato, there are 10 different types of potato. There can be 6 different types of tomato, 5 different types of onion. You will have to fix price for each of them. We can't say that, okay, price is this much for one of them. So that is a challenge that we get here. And then one more, you write, the administrative expertise to implement the program is not fully present. Administrative expertise to implement the program, like, somebody in administration will have to be smart enough to procure at the right time, store at the right place, process at the right time. That is not present at the moment. All right, so it's not present. Again, they are futuristic schemes, AIDF, Operation Green. They are not bad ideas, but we will have to work on these challenges to make sure we successfully implement them. Do I believe we are clear on that? Perfect. आप बस एक heading दे दो आज के लिए, ताकि हमें कल याद रहे कहाँ से शुरू करना है. I'll again see you at 2:45 tomorrow. You give a heading, you write, technological support in agriculture. 11th, technological support in agriculture. All right, I'll begin from here tomorrow. I'll see you tomorrow then. Thanks a lot. Have a great day. Yes, they can be clubbed, Divyanshi, if you are writing a complete answer on these only. All right. God bless you. एक पेज एक्स्ट्रा लग गया तुम्हारा आज. Thank you, Divyanshi. Thank you, everyone online. I'll see you tomorrow, 2:45 again. Tomorrow, 2:45. Thank you.